It's trying to bother me. I'm not even watching anymore.
Vignetting?
Are you messing with the aperture of the camera? You can do that?
Oh, man.
All right, Dan, get prepped for your Rey Mysterio.
This is what his dogs see all the time. This is upsetting.
Okay.
No.
Fade into black. I'm fading to black.
No, it's not good.
Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 874. I am your host, Jan Ochoa. I also have Zero Fear up in this house. Joining me, co-captain of the ship. He's strutting into the podcast actively. He's got a fantastic mask on, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs, Jeff Grubb.
I am just saying that logically, every person who knows about Persona does know about Metal Gear, but not everyone that knows about Metal Gear knows about Persona. So if you just think about it.
That's right. That's right. And he joining us, as always, bad boy of games media, Playboy, Pog Slammer, Mike Minotti.
Woo! It's me. It's Mike Minotti. I'm doing great. Nobody was mean to me on the internet lately. How about you, Jeff?
Oh, shoot. Oh, dang it. No, they definitely are.
No, that's too bad. I didn't hear about that.
Oh, man.
In the podcast world, he is not in Rey Mysterio's shadow. We have Dan Reichert.
Yeah. Hey, how do you guys get people mad at you?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'd be myself usually.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You seem worse for wear.
Yeah, listen, I'm all right. Yeah, it's pretty easy to tune out. I wasn't even thinking about it, and then Mike brought it up. So really, I'm mad at Mike.
I think about it
makes
constantly
sense.
because
Yeah.
I don't mind people do it to me. I get very upset when these fucking sorry, I shouldn't swear so early, but I really don't like them do their thing with Jeff. So sorry.
Mike's very protective of his boy, and I appreciate
Nobody
it.
touches my gravy train. I mean, my best friend.
I have a question. What is a gravy train? Is that like when
That's
people
the
have
money. You're in the money.
Yeah, but what is it? Okay, yes, but Jazz, an excellent point. What was it before we started using it as like,
My
gravy
assumption
boat.
is it's like a sushi boat thing, right? Like where it's like, now here comes the gravy train, so grab the gravy while it's here.
Oh,
And
we're
we're just gonna-
transferring the gravy from the gravy capital of the world, wherever that is, via train, literally. And when it comes in, it's a big deal because it's like, oh, we're gonna sell the gravy.
It
I
would
don't
be
think it's shoot gravy.
No,
No, I don't think so.
I wanted
it's
to
shoot
be
gravy.
shoot gravy.
well, in the way that we're using it today, Dan, it's a metaphor.
Yeah,
absolutely
yes,
correct.
I
Yes.
understand it.
Right, but the etymology of it.
The last time I heard that term was I had just started the WWE and I had to call Scott Hall to get him ready for we're going to have him and Nash on the podcast because they were going to put the NWO in the Hall of Fame. And I called. He's like, I'm going to tell you right away. I fucking hate podcasts. I don't want to do this fucking podcast. Only reason I'm doing it is because they're going to put me in the Hall of Fame the second time. And I'm not going to do anything to fuck up that gravy train. So I'm not going to say shit. I was like, all right. Thank you, Razor. This is going to be a great episode. And then he no-showed it. And Nash had to text him like 30 minutes in and get him to show up.
Hell yeah.
Funny enough, that's what we all say to each other before starting any podcast.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the gravy train.
I now want to start an American food chain, like Grubb said, where it's sushi boats, but it's just a gravy train.
Yeah. Yeah. Just little toy trains going around with like, overflowing gravy carts
Yeah,
in the
like,
back.
Do you have like bread and as the boats
Yeah.
go by, you can dip
Yeah.
it and then you don't even have to like worry about the gravy? It's just
Yeah.
dip as it goes
Right.
by?
And then it's like you physically could not double dip. I suppose you could double dip into the next one.
If you
This does
went
not solve
fast.
double dipping. Yes.
I don't care about double dipping. I'm fine.
No,
with it.
I'm aware, and you know what? I don't really care that much either. But I care enough when I'm around other people. I am impressed that you don't care at your house when people are around. You're like, no, I'm double dipping. This is my stuff.
I've
whatever.
never thought about double dipping in my life.
Yeah,
I think as long as you say, "Hey, I'm gonna double dip," then that's fine.
Yeah,
like the unsolicited double
you
dip.
declare to the universe. Yeah.
Right. Hey, is this an actual Phoenix Down moment, or does everybody else never realize this? Because so I was thinking about Tony Hawk a lot.
Oh,
Specifically Tony Hawk's Underground, and the bad guy in that game is named Eric Sparrow, and only like yesterday I realized those are two bird-themed last names.
I did not get that either.
It is one of those things where it's like I definitely have realized it multiple times in my life because I keep forgetting. It's like, oh yeah, duh, Eric Sparrow. So this last time, no, I was aware.
I mean, I didn't get miles per hour until I was working at Game Informer, and Tim Turry made a reference to it.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn near 30. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that one because the cartoon brought it up specifically. I don't think
That's
I
the
even
thing.
knew
You need
his
to
middle
bring
name's
things
supposed
up,
to be.
otherwise it's hard to understand.
Yeah.
True.
yeah. That's what we do on podcasts. We do nothing but bring things up.
Yeah, it's just it's a bring things up mechanism. It's the whole thing. Yeah.
We're not yes-anding here. We're bring things upping.
Yeah.
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 Yes, and then pivoting. By the way, I went to that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth concert.
Did I ask for what you guys were doing yet?
Yeah, we're not there yet.
Do that. Nope.
I didn't realize that was
Mike, there's such a structure to the show.
I
You
actually
know
didn't
that.
I always thought people just started bringing shit up. I didn't realize that. Like, first was
kinda
like
did too.
BS. Then what do we do?
This
And
guy,
then we talk about games.
he doesn't
There's no
want to.
jingle.
he
There's no
doesn't-
jingle.
He doesn't want to yes and us, but he's gonna bring things up all the time. Mike's
Let's
always
see.
asking
Mike,
for
Mike,
uppies.
talk about it.
Why are you gonna change
Just
the
talk about
subject?
it. Just talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, it was
got his
great.
arm
It was
ready to
over in
That's actually
we
the new
had a
jingle
fun-
we're premiering. Mike, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I now apologize.
How dare you? I'd never.
Feel free to bring stuff up.
Okay.
Didn't Chris Minotti get in a fight?
What?
No, he stole something. It was fine. Chris was on something. Man, it's so
He was
funny.
on something?
No, not like medically. Well, it's my
Recreationally?
Yeah.
it was me and my two brothers trip to Cleveland. It's so funny with them because like to me it's like yeah, this is fun. To them it's like oh my god, I'm getting away from the kids, right? And like they love their kids, but it's very exciting to not have them come up and ask for a glass of water or for 15 other things every 2 minutes. So they get very excited. We went to a tiki bar first in Cleveland called Porco, which by the way is incredible. Big shout outs to Porco. Amazing drinks. There's some nice small plates there. Very good chorizo sliders at Porco. But yeah, Chris was having a good time. I want to be clear, Chris. Normally, the closest thing I know to an angel on earth, just a very sweet boy, Chris Minotti. Super nice, not at all like me, right? Not a devilish little
Not the
imp.
bad boy of Games Media.
Not a
right.
bad boy. Chris is a good boy. But yeah, we were at we were at a certain German themed restaurant, sitting at the bar, and then Chris disappears for a bit. And he was already just being very goofy, right? In fact, he saw on the menu the word like wiener art, right? Because it was like the name of food. He thought that was very funny.
He's
He's not wrong.
Very excited about wiener art. So he disappeared for a bit. Then he came back and he was wearing like a Gandalf the Grey hat with the restaurant's logo on it. And we're like, hey, Chris, that's interesting. He's like, haha, yeah. And then every once in a while, his breath's like, especially because it's free. Ha ha ha. And I'm like, Chris, why? He's like, nothing, joking. Then later, we're walking to the concert. He doesn't get like, Chris, did you steal this hat? And he was like, yes, I did.
Hell
But-
yeah.
Nice.
But he's like, look, I tried to buy it and there's nobody there. There's just nobody
All
there.
right.
That doesn't mean you.
No court in the land, Jan, would convict this man.
All right. I mean, Chris Minotti is an angel as far as I'm concerned.
I wonder if he wants me to share the story. Jeff asked them.
We'll cut it out in post. It's fine.
I wasn't going to.
Did you see the headlines? Just says the Minotti brothers got into a fight, so now that's all it's going to be about.
Man, that is not happening. ever. No, we just laughed at him a lot. He's having a good time. It's fine.
Have your
I love
brothers also
telling
not
his-
been in a fight? I know you haven't.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Chris was the one who was like athletic, but he has even less of a killer instinct than the rest of us, so he didn't get too far in sports.
Killer instinct is one way to put it.
Yeah, right.
Mike-
So yeah.
Mike, out of your three brothers, who is the muscle?
I mean, I guess Chris, which is a problem, because he's, a sweet boy who wouldn't hurt a fly, but he definitely has the most muscle.
Are you the brains or are you the heart?
I'm the goober.
He's the
That's
wild
the most
card.
important organ.
Yeah, the goober.
guys,
It's right here somewhere.
I didn't mean to start the podcast on a damper, but I kind of need a goober transplant.
I'm sorry,
dang.
buddy. Jeez.
I got extra.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll do that for you in Turkey. Yeah.
What is AJ then, Mike?
The older brother. He's the driver. He loves to drive.
All right, another important organ.
Yeah, he's the most responsible one. Kind of annoyingly, he loves following the rules, and Jeff knows that I love following the rules, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Dan learned this too recently. AJ loves the rules so much, gets very anxious if we start breaking them a bit. Luckily, he had also been drinking, so he mostly found Chris's theft funny. But yeah. Shout out to my brothers. We had a good time at the Final Fantasy VII concert.
Yeah, so the Final Fantasy music was good.
Yeah, so I want to be clear. At the Final Fantasy VII concert, we stole nothing.
Okay. No, you would never steal from the Square Enix Corporation.
No. The restaurant that charges you $20 for a beer or whatever, that's fine. But
yeah, they'll live.
Yeah. Are you fucking me off, Jeff? Are you really mad about the theft?
Oh, is that what? Oh no. There we go.
No, you're fine. Yeah, the concert was fantastic. It was just specifically songs from 7 Rebirth. They played my favorite. That's that fights song with the Valkyrie in it. Just flowed really well. They do the thing where they play all these montages from the game. What's neat, it's like, that means cutscenes, but a lot of times it just means the battle stuff without the UI. I'm like, man, this fight system looks so good. I want to play more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth or Remake or hopefully that third one at some point. Insanely long merch line, which, like Mel Gibson said, where the real money from the movie is made, right?
That's right. I'm constantly thinking of Mel Gibson.
I'm constantly thinking of May the Schwartz be with you. Yeah. But yeah, concert was fantastic. We just had a great trip in Cleveland in general. I know, Jeff, you were doing some family stuff. I hope you had a good time, though.
Yeah. It was the kids' birthdays. We did some stuff like that. It was a good time. Yeah. We just got a bunch of presents. Dan's weather became our weather, so it was getting cold, and it's gotten colder.
Is it negative 33? Because that's what it was last night.
Is that the real feel or actual?
The shoot was negative 18. The feels was negative 33.
So we are getting there. We're getting pretty close. We're at like -9 right now, and it's supposed to get colder. Like they canceled school today and tomorrow because of the cold. So
what did I actually say instead of Mel Brooks? I'm sorry.
Mel Gibson.
Yeah, I was wondering. You said Mel Gibson, and then you were talking about Spaceballs, and I was like, it's been a long time since I saw Spaceballs, but I don't remember Mel Gibson in that.
That's funny. Sorry, Jeff. Continue.
No, it's all right. It was fun. We had cake and pie and other various frivolities. It was a good time.
Lovely. I guess this is kind of related to playing, but I went to a Top Golf over the weekend to celebrate a friend's birthday. We should go.
Yes, we should go. Yeah. It's just a good time, right?
I would do that.
Yeah. I had no idea that they had games. They
have Sonic games.
Yeah, they have Sonic. They have Angry Birds. I'm terrible at it, but I eventually got the hang of it. Good time. Good time. Also, it's a fun little mini game to try and hit the person driving the little cart around collecting all the balls.
That is an incredibly it's just like when they put one of those flies on the inside of a urinal to try to get guys to aim better. It's that for golf.
Are they protected? Like, do they have helmets and stuff?
Yeah, there's like a cage.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't want to
you're not going to hurt.
We're not trying to murder someone.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
No, of course not.
I know Jan. I know Jan has that.
Jan has the blood. Yes, he's thirsty for death.
Yes.
Yeah, I just like God. It's so spiffy in there, and you have like a waiter, and it's just like you're playing these fun games, and you're drinking, and every once in a while a nice person comes up and asks if you want more food or drink. It's just very pleasant.
It is
it's
very pleasant.
it's the ideal form of golf, I think. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, I kind of, this is just me being foofy doofy, but like I take issue with golf courses taking up so much land, but like
Yep.
a driving range, that's perfectly fine.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You put that, like, they're just going to put it in the parking lot that's already there, which is something that's happening not too far from me. So I'm pretty excited.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's already one in Cleveland.
On the other side. Yeah. The other side of the city. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. It's very nice. We
Yep.
good time there. Definitely want to go back.
Yeah. But I think we'd have a ball of a time. Is that the phrase?
A
We'd have
bucket of
ball.
balls of a
We
time.
just have a
Yeah.
ball.
Yes.
You'd have to
Oh,
add of
but-
a time.
But the thing
They
that
pop out
brings
of my mouth. Yeah.
the mood down is the people that go to Top Golf and take everything too seriously.
Yeah.
That's funny. People take even that seriously. That's incredible.
Of course
You're at
they do.
Top Golf.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Holy
like
shit.
there were a lot of the floor we were at, because it's, I guess most Top Golfs are like at least 3 floors, right? The floor we were on, several other birthdays celebrating, but then like 2 groups next to us on either flanking our party, they all brought their own clubs, and like it's 11 o'clock in the morning. People are already getting a little bit buzzed, and I'm like, y'all are taking this too seriously. Y'all don't need to be wearing your gloves and have cleats to fucking Top Golf.
Wait,
yeah.
you literally don't need cleats. That's the point. That's
Yeah.
right.
Cleats
what
seem
are you
like they would
talking
be
about?
destructive to the
Yeah.
Top Golf, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been. Can you walk me through, like, so you go there and they'll like just give you a set of clubs, or you have to rent them? Like, how does it all work?
There's like a set of clubs, like just like how bowling balls are to the side at a bowling
Right.
alley, and like they have the whole range. They got drivers, woods, 9 irons to like whatever is the lowest number of irons, and then they have 2 specific clubs for Top Golf itself, which are just like bigger driver clubs.
Mhm.
And then you just take turns. You can.
Why
you
would
can,
you, if it's a driving range, why would you go with like a lower club?
Well, the driving range, you could practice any shot you want.
Yeah.
Like,
so go
yeah.
for a closer one. And okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they'll have targets across the field for like distance and stuff, but they also have some closer targets in case you're trying to work on your different swings.
Yeah.
But I don't understand the tech of it, and I'm assuming each individual golf ball has some type of tracker on it,
Yeah, they all have some kind of exactly.
Yeah.
IR thing or whatever.
because it's insane how like I will miss the ball and I don't know where it went, and then like I'll look at the screen below me of like, oh, it's tracking it, and like, oh, it went over there. That's cool. But the Angry Birds implementation, it's like kind of goofy, but it is very fun.
I was going to ask, is there a thing like when you get a strike or a spare in bowling and there's like a fun, like, anthropomorphic pins of being, acting out a skit? Is there anything like that?
There should be.
I really love that at
100%
bowling
should be.
alleys.
Yeah. I watch animations like that for fun in my free time.
Yeah. That's my anime.
We should Top Golfize all the other sports too, right? Like I want like
Yeah.
baseball like batting
Oh,
cage
oh
version
my
of
God.
Top Golf.
Yeah.
Giant dartboards.
Right,
Just like
like, yeah.
human-sized dartboards. Yeah.
Like a basketball thing where we're all just trying to make 3-point shots, right?
Pop
On different
shots,
levels.
yeah.
Like,
Gun.
Oh my god, I would let y'all gun human dart me like via catapult. Like I would
Nash
wear,
and Mysterio?
I would wear like a Velcro suit and let y'all like jump on a catapult to launch me onto like a dartboard.
We went to a thing, like, was it last 4th of July? I can't remember, but they had like a kids play area, and one of the things was put on a Velcro suit and get launched up at a wall.
Hell yeah.
And I waited in line for a long time. I actually met a Giant Bomb fan in that line, and then
Nice.
and just got the kid in there and just basically just tossed her at a wall. She had a great time. Loved it.
Did the GB fan bring their own Velcro suit?
No, they weren't taking it quite as seriously as some. There was definitely some people getting very competitive. Yeah.
How's everything else going, gents? We had a long weekend.
Yeah, it
Anyone
was
feel
nice.
rested?
It was necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I feel rested, because it's like one of those things where I'm like, I let things pile up over the holidays so bad that I'm like still kind of unburying myself from that, and it's causing like stress. So I feel like, oh, if I try to relax, I feel bad. So trying to get over that hump. But the 3-day weekend helped with that. A lot of that stuff is mostly taken care of. So
Okay.
yeah, feeling good.
I had a day that was very, I guess, busy technically, but very relaxing in that they tore up the carpet and put some new floors in here. So I had to come in here and like take everything out. And like it just turned into one of those days where I spent the entire day going through everything, like all of my boxes, reorganized. It's like, if I got to take all this shit out of the room anyway, I'm going to put everything together in the middle of the floor, and I'm going to reorganize cables and game collection stuff and make sure everything has a logic and a rhyme and a reason to it. Spend all fucking day doing that. At the end, it's like, oh, I just kind of know where everything is now, and it's not just in a crazy spot.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great.
I'm like, everybody gets rid of carpet for hardwood floor. I have a room in my house that has like a hard floor that I desperately want carpet in. I feel like I'm some kind of weirdo.
I think carpet's an old thing now. I feel like people don't like carpet anymore. Well, I mean, like when you're looking for houses and stuff, it's always like real estate people are always like, oh, this is all hardwood. This is all.
Exactly.
And it's like, you can tear up the carpet. You know, like I think like generally.
That's why I feel like a freak. Like, why am I like still
you
okay
are.
with carpet?
Yeah, you are.
You're a pervert.
Carpet's gross. Yeah.
You can always put a rug on the hardwood floor, which I have, but this one back here I just put down recently, and it's so cozy and comfy. The kids come and like play on it, so I'm like, you still get the benefit of like a nice cozy rug.
I guess so. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I wish that I liked college football more, because gosh, Ohio State keeps winning things, and I just have like, right, like gosh, I love all these other sports, but it's always teams that lose all the time. Why don't I just become an OSU fan? Then I could be happy when they do things like win.
Yeah, is it like? Because Youngstown, where'd you go to school? You went
Youngstown, YSU. Yeah.
Okay, yes,
I mean, we
Youngstown
have
State.
team, but it was a different division.
No, of course, right. But it's like you guys were just like just out of the orbit of Central Ohio enough that you guys maybe weren't inundated
there's
with
tons of people here who
I
are
know,
OSU fans.
I'm always surprised by it.
I don't know. I think I just kind of like don't respect college football. I don't know.
Because they aren't getting paid, so they aren't real people, in Mike's opinion. Yeah,
there's always a little bit of me. It's like, oh, y'all taking this really seriously, right? It's like I like going to the high school football game too, but whatever, right?
Yep.
Like it's fine. I don't know. I guess I just rather get invested in the pro stuff, even though the Browns are freaking terrible. But whatever, go Bucks, I guess.
At KU, I lived right by the football stadium, was where my apartment was, and so Saturday I think was game day, and every Saturday I would fucking wake up hungover because Friday night I'm out all night and I sleep, don't set an alarm, and then I wake up. I'll know it's football season because I wake up to a formation of fucking jets flying over my apartment. It's the loudest. I'm thinking I'm getting bombed every Saturday morning. It's terrible.
Yep,
Jets.
that's right.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
How many times in your lives do you have you guys thought, I think we might be getting bombed?
A lot. Because I
Maybe
live
like 10.
Because I live in California, I feel like I'm closer than everyone else.
When I was
That's
at
definitely the
zero.
thing- That's the thing that saves me is that I'm like, wait, nobody wants to bomb this place.
Yeah, when I was in Colorado, I wasn't far from Colorado Springs, which is like strategically super important for a lot of stuff. It's like where the Air Force is based, and so there's definitely times where I would like hear something like that is not a normal jet, and I would look up and it's like, oh, that is a stealth bomber. But I wouldn't think we were getting bombed. Like they're going to bomb somebody. All right, cool, we're good.
I'd say zero for me. I've never thought that.
You haven't ever thought it?
No, it
You just
seems
joked about it.
far-fetched.
I thought you said you just.
I joked about
wake
getting
up-
bombed?
You just said in the story.
Oh, because basically shoot jets were flying over my house and I was hungover. I didn't know I was discombobulated.
So you thought you're getting bombed?
I was saying for comedic effect. I didn't think I was getting bombed, Mike Minotti.
You lied to me.
Anyway,
I worked you, brother.
I was at an album release party on Friday, and I was feeling socially awkward, so I went into the kitchen of the place, and my friend was there because he was working the kitchen, and then he just offers like, "Hey, Jan, you want some jungle juice?"
Shit.
No.
And then I'm like, where do you have this jungle juice stored, friend? And he opens up the fridge, and it's a walk-in fridge, pulls out a giant vat. He gets a comically large whisk to whisk it.
Oh.
And then, oh boy. I don't,
It's been a while.
speaking about hangovers.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do
Was it
that.
Everclear? And was that?
He said that there was too much tequila in it, and it was masked by all of the fruit juices.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds rough.
It's great.
Mhm.
It's great.
Welcome to
Sounds
the
like good
jungle.
times. Anyway,
Whatever happened to tequila? I'm sorry, trying to
She's in the cabinet, I think.
Okay, that's fuck.
Wow.
I wouldn't put it past.
Ah.
Yeah. Hey, speaking about descending back into madness, I didn't get a chance to play too many things over the break, but you know what I did see? You know, I did play the game of witnessing people go goo goo gaga for Pokemon cards.
Oh boy.
Oh, you were like at a shoot store.
Yeah. What was the venue?
A Costco.
Okay.
So
there's two kinds of sickos: Pokemon sickos and Costco sickos. So
right, people have graduated from being like Target store stands to Costco stands.
Oh,
And
clearly, yeah.
It's very weird to see the progression.
Do you think it's the Costco guys?
I don't know if it's related.
I think they
to
are
the
a
Costco
symptom.
guys.
Yeah,
They're
they're a
symptom?
symptom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're definitely like patient zero of like the Costco craze, maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, you know, I'm just rolling up, trying to get my rotisserie chicken, and then the clock strikes 11, and then out of nowhere, I see a swarm of what I can only politely describe as fucking nerds, rolling to this old man pushing a pallet over, unwrapping the plastic. I'm like, what are these guys like fawning over? And he has to like tell them to back up. And he's just saying, limit two. I
am curious, like when you realized what was happening. So keep going with that in mind.
I was looking at like, because they were long boxes, and then I was thinking like, okay, this isn't food, this isn't clothing, because why would people go to Costco and like line up for clothing? And there were no samples, of course. So I'm like, all right, what are they? And then I started looking at the fucking nerds, and I'm like, this can only be for one thing. This can only be for one thing. And then like they
The
formed
stink lines that gave him away, wasn't it?
yeah, it was a stink line.
I'm picturing like a Golden Idol scene. It's I've deduced it.
Barber Jan talking about the new hat that Pokemon or Pikachu has or whatever. Yeah.
They form a line, they queue up, and then the first person in line, there's a giant stack, like a pallet of Pokemon cards, right? And I noticed that what it is, and he is eyeing this whole stack from top to bottom, trying to like Jenga piece which two boxes he's gonna fucking take, and then everyone behind him is groaning and yelling at him. It's like, get your cards. And the guy gets his two cards, and then more people get their two cards or two boxes of cards. And like I check out, and then I'm hanging out in the food court eating my hot dog. And there are so many people at self-checkout, at regular checkout with Pokemon cards. And it is the OG 151 set, which people are going wild for because it has like I think a very popular, it's probably a Charizard card, but I think there's also a Blastoise card. And I was just very thankful that I wasn't one of these people. I think I've kicked the habit.
Yeah, I know I've been making fun of them, but you said it was a 151 set. I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty nice, actually.
But it was insane because so many people had camped out afterwards and gone to the food court, taken up all the tables, not eating anything, taking up so much space from the people that are like trying to like have a quick snack or meal with their family, and they're like ripping open these cards. And
They can't even wait to go home, huh?
Nope.
Couldn't even wait to go home.
No, the itch won't let him.
And then I saw a guy that I recognized that was early in the queue come back around to check out, and then they told him like, no man, you can't buy them, you already hit your two boxes per limit. And he was freaking out.
Oh no,
he was causing a scene.
Hell yeah.
What would you say the average age is here, just out of curiosity?
Around my age.
Yeah, mid-30s, right?
Yeah, mid-30s.
So is this a nostalgia play on the part of the
100%
Pokemon company?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think if I think of it from people that you're describing as they sound healthy and normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say I did see a couple vapes afterwards of people carrying their Pokemon cards and vaping afterwards.
I'm just not smoking cigarettes, so yeah, healthy.
So
Hey.
things are going great across the board.
What the hell? Anyways, I felt like I should get a part-time job at Costco so I can pilfer these cards. Just because I think it'd be hilarious. Also, like a lot of them were one guy pulled out a scale for his cards.
Scale.
Wow.
To weigh them.
Yeah, because
Yes.
Right,
some
'cause-
packs weigh more if they have the right card.
Incredible.
Right, because like I guess the rarer cards are a little thicker, right?
Oh.
Right,
So-
because the foil, right?
the foil, yes. So that they were weighing cards. And then I swear to God, I saw so many eBay apps open, just waiting to also sell like the whole boxes and everything. And there were plenty of like parents that also just bought into the hype. And you know, when you see a line, you just go after it also.
Sure, right. You don't
Yeah.
want to miss out.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Pokemon cards are a problem. Just play the and the thing is that bugs me the most. I bet you 90% of these people buying all these boxes have no idea how to play the game.
Oh, they're
Oh,
mostly
sure.
scalpers,
Yeah.
right? Which,
Yeah.
you know, I
That's-
do. I like scalpers at least because they help me feel like I have a real job, which is something. So.
I remember that week that the PS3 and the Wii were coming out. They were like a
Right.
week apart, and I was writing for the paper. And both nights that they were coming out, like the night before, I went to Walmart, went to Best Buy, went to Target, to all the lines, and went down and was like, I think I shot a video like interviewing everyone, asking, and it was something like 98% of people were there just to sell them on eBay. You know, like there'd be like one guy at the front that's like, I'm just really excited about Resistance, and like the rest were just all selling them.
Well, talking about paper cards to Paper Mario, Jeff Grubb, you've been playing Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door.
Yeah, I was thinking about my good friend Mikey wanted me to finish this game, and I'm like, you know what? I do enjoy it. Why don't I go back there? And as soon as I picked it back up, it was to get onto the train, which turns out to be like kind of a mystery, a bunch of mysteries. There's a detective, and I'm like, well, had I known this, I would have been back here immediately. It just continues to be very fun, very good. It's I definitely like just lost my momentum with it. And so just be like, oh, I'll force myself to go back. And that was the right choice. I'm going to see it through now. I think I'm still at a point with that game where the structure of each of these adventures, like going from one to the other, maybe did get a bit samey. So having this break helped with that. I think had I gone right back into this after completing the thing before it, I probably would have been feeling a little bit worn out by the formula. But in this moment, it's like, oh no, this is just a pleasant game with really fun characters, really sharp writing. I like the combat still, and now we're getting long breaks between that because it's playing around doing a bunch of other things on this train. We're just investigating things. There's a couple people asking me to look for some stuff. It's not like big and sprawling. It's a train, so I kind of know where everything is, so it's easy to manage. Just continues to be a very, very solid game that I'm happy I'm going to finish here. So
Nice.
yeah,
That's
Yep, I
definitely
think I
one
got
of. Oh, go ahead, Jan. Sorry.
I think I got to pick this up now.
It's
I've
so
never played
good.
Paper Mario:
I
The
think-
Thousand-Year Door.
Oh, you never played?
really
Oh,
enjoy
Jan,
it.
it's so good. And that chapter structure, like, sometimes it can be a little bit like kind of like up and down, but each chapter does a pretty good job of switching things up. Yeah, some of them really switch things up, like this train murder mystery parody moment here, right? Which again is just sort of really well done, and it is a lot of fun. Relatively later-ish in the game. I'm trying to think, Jeff, what else you have? Have you done the Desert Island one?
I don't know. I think there's just this, and then one kind of thing after this, one chapter after this, and then I'm done.
Pretty
Yeah,
late-ish. Yeah,
it's
But
late in the game for sure.
There's like the pro wrestling section, which is incredible.
Oh, yeah,
right?
I love that,
That's-
yes.
Yeah, where you get your own little baby Yoshi. And it randomizes the color of it, so it's very exciting to see what color you get.
What's Mario's wrestling name?
Oh, the great Gonzalez.
Yeah, the
I
great
can't believe I still
Gonzalez,
remember
yes.
that. It's
Yes.
great. And it's great as the baby Yoshi like only knows him as that because he's born when he's the great Gonzalez. So the entire game will call him Gonzalez.
God,
Yeah, and
maybe I
there's
need to play this remake because I played it.
Yeah.
I've only played through it the one time, and it was like 5 years ago. I feel like I kind of want to play it again.
Oh, it's
So-
really good.
It's so freaking good. Like playing through, I'm like, oh, this. It was always either this or Mario RPG as my favorite. And like playing both of the remakes, and I enjoyed both of them. I am like, no, it's Thousand-Year Door. This game is just too freaking good.
All right.
Yep.
Hey, question for you boys. What is the best fake wrestler name?
Fake wrestler, as in a movie or
Yep.
TV show.
It's
video game.
Thunderlips, right?
Thunderlips is good.
Captain Insano?
Captain Insano's
Wait,
pretty
Captain
up there.
Insano's very
Captain
good.
Insano was a wrestler in The Water Boy, right? Like,
Yeah.
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw is really good.
Bonesaw.
And really the way he sells it and says it.
macho.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be
What's
Bonesaw.
What's the name of the guy in gosh, the freaking weird comedy with David Arquette?
Ready to Rumble? Oh,
Yeah.
he was just like the king, right?
The
He's pretty
king,
much
yeah.
a Lawler.
Yeah.
It's Oliver
Like,
Platt, which was
I
the
will
weirdest
crown
casting.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, God, that movie sucks.
I love Oliver Platt.
Jimmy King. Okay, well that's
Yeah,
that's not it.
Have you seen the clip of David Arquette on Nitro eating shit through the gimmick stage?
No.
It's incredible.
I probably saw it at the time. I
It's
was definitely
basically
watching
Jeff
the
Jarrett
time.
and DDP are climbing the Tron to do a spot, and the stage was gimmicked because they were going to do a spot where they fell off and fell through the stage. When David Arquette was supposed to be in that spot, they just told him like, "Hey, go out through the Tron and just take a right and go over there and then do whatever." They didn't tell him the stage was gimmicked, so he just ate shit through this wooden stage that was gimmicked to shatter and everything. And so you can just see David Arquette leave the frame, and then the camera pans over, and he's just in a hole. It's incredible.
Incredible.
The Arquette Hall, yeah.
It's like the noob's hole, right?
Yeah.
That's
There
great.
could be a God, what's that movie's called again? Hole, King of the Ring of the King. I don't know.
Ready to rumble?
Ready to
Ready to
Rumble.
Rumble. I always
Yeah.
forget the name of it. Yeah, it's a very generic name. Yeah, there should be a Ready to Rumble hole.
Bonesaw is very good.
It's Bonesaw for me.
And that's the
yeah.
best casting.
Yep.
Weird past his prime macho. Yeah, that's
Yep.
great. That's like rap album era Macho Man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
good fucking guys.
it's a good line read. Bonesaw is ready.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like there was no direction.
No.
Raimi just let him cook.
Yeah.
And he was the good guy in that scene because Spider-Man got homophobic or something, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
his uncle died.
Well, and he let it happen, right?
And he let it happen.
Is Spider-Man a heel?
Mm.
He has heel moments.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking about going back to games, Jeff Grubb, you've also gone back to Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah. I'm like, so I think I've been mentioning the last couple of weeks here on the Bombcast that was having a hard time focusing on stuff and starting up new games. And I'm like, I think really a big part of it is there's a handful of things I want to clear up from last year and keep playing. And when I was super honest with myself, it's like the one I want to be playing the most is Star Wars Outlaws. So I've gone back to that. They've updated it a bunch, so it runs better. The gameplay improvements. I feel like they just added some extra juice on top of everything. There's definitely the aspects of people being like, oh, the automatic failure in stealth scenes is they did that, so it's like it's no longer going to be an automatic failure. You can continue to play through that and just shoot your way out if you want. I'm like, great, that's awesome. I didn't notice that too much because I would just sneak through and usually get through and would be fine.
Skill issue is what you're saying.
Skill issue, exactly.
Wow.
And I think the other part of it is a lot of those things happen earlier in the game, and it's one of the reasons I think the game had such a rough patch early on. It's like people would just play these parts and hate it, and not get to a lot of the good stuff later. But
Sure.
I'm into a lot of the good stuff, and I think the extra juice is like the blaster fire just seems a lot more like vibrant and alive. Like getting shot at now feels dangerous and cool, and your weapon, like part of it is I've upgraded my weapon so that it feels cooler, but just like getting shot at by enemies feels so cool now. So these action sequences are even more effective than they were before.
Okay.
And then you still have all of the awesome connective tissue that made this game so neat in the first place, which is going to these cool planets like Kajimi, and it being this snow planet that's kind of like Tibet or a little bit, and going through there and finding all the food vendors. All that stuff is still awesome. And now because the performance, it looks better than ever and runs really well. And I'm getting like 120 frames per second with DLSS and stuff like that, so it just looks really smooth. And I'm just enjoying being in that place. I think I've come to accept that I like being on the planets, and then anytime I do like a little side quest and it's like, okay, now get in the ship and go fly out to a random point in space and do something out there and then come back to the planet, I'm like, I don't want to do that. Like, let me just stay on this planet. So there's some aspects of like the structure that I'm still not in love with. I think this is still mostly an okay to good game. I think it's leaning more towards good these days. But it's not one I'm like, hey, this was a 9 out of 10 and you should have spent $70 on it the day it came out. This is definitely, hey, if you can get it for $40 to $50 and you understand some of its flaws and shortcomings and you're okay with still liking a game despite those things, it's still that. But for me, it's like that I throw that stuff out immediately, and I'm just having a really good time with it still.
Grub, do you think this game would have performed differently if it wasn't tied to Ubisoft?
Yeah, I mean, I do think there's Ubisoft's just having a moment right now where people hear that name and they have a certain idea of what those games are going to be. A lot of times, a correct estimation of what those games are going to be, and they're burnt out by that, and they don't trust that company, and they think that I could just wait a little bit and get it on sale, and then that's what that game's actually worth. So the idea that you're even trying to charge $70 out of the gate in the first place is an insult to me. Yeah, I think Ubisoft's just got some bad juju right now, and that's hurting all the stuff it puts out. We'll see how that works out for Shadows.
Yeah, it's fine. Everyone's just going to start charging $100 for games, and that's going to save everything.
And we'll talk about that in the news. Yeah.
Oh, motherfuckers. Yeah. If you missed it last Friday, we did a charity stream for LA wildfire relief. And Mikey, you put on the rundown Bowser's Fury.
Yeah. And, it's funny because, we did that race, but the race was just to beat the game. So we all did that. Also, me, Jeff, Dan, and Sean. That was just such a fantastic time. That was one of my favorite streams we ever did here. Obviously, doing it for a good cause, getting to hang out. But also, Bowser's Fury, gosh, that is a fun game. That, open world structure there, where there's basically just all these mini levels floating amongst this open world, and you use Plessy to kind of swim your way between them. And I'm like, and this was kind of like the somewhat test/thrown together version of that idea that was made to kind of give a little bit of a bonus to the 3D World port on Switch. Boy, I'm excited to see what the new 3D Mario is. I'm kind of preparing myself now that might not be a launch game for the Switch too, if it's Mario Kart instead of that. But I guys to hope that it's this year, because Bowser's Fury was still just so much fun. Very easy game to play through in one sitting.
I feel like it was easy to forget how good it was too, because I don't know if you were like me, where it's it came out, I heard it was like a 5-hour thing. I played through it all in 1 or 2 sittings, loved it, remember loving it, and then I didn't touch it since then. So it's been since it came out that I last touched it,
right?
And it's immediately being oh right, I want this to be the blueprint for every Mario going forward.
Right. And for me personally, my association with Bowser's Fury became more, this is the game I got in trouble with Nintendo with, because I said how many cat shines were in it, and I wasn't supposed to, right? So, the meme became reality there a little bit. So it was nice to remember, no, this is actually a very, very good game. It was worth going to Nintendo jail for. It'll wait for me. It's okay.
You did your time, Mike. It's good.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah, you've been rehabilitated. I think for me, it's always a reminder of assessing games in the time and then assessing games years later, especially once you start getting out of the generation that it's in. It's a very different thing. It just is. Sure. And what I want from a game when I am reviewing it and recommending it to people, and I know they have to pay a lot of money for it, is very different than it's what are some good games on this system that is no longer a going concern. And the Switch is not there, but it's getting there. And so I'm having that retrospective vision now and looking, it's well, clearly, yes, Bowser's Fury is a standout game on the Switch, because you don't have to be worried about, and it's only 3 to 4 hours. At this point, that is a positive for that game, where it maybe was not when it first came out. So, yeah, I think at the time it was easier to forget, and now as we get out of the Switch, it's going to be one of those where it's oh yeah, that system had Bowser's Fury, one of the one of the best 3D platformers ever. Who cares how long it is?
So, Grub, you're doing these reappraisals now. Is it time for Red Dead 2 for you?
I will always be willing to reappraise something. Like I said, I did do that one stream where I went in there and immediately had a bad time again. But
I would say don't stream it, because I've considered that several times since I started playing it again. Maybe I'll just stream some bounty hunts or something here. But then it's nope, this is going to be my playoff line.
So there is what's his name? The guy that sits on the exercise ball on YouTube. He did
Gabe Newell.
Yes, Gabe Newell. I can't remember his name. He started Ball Media. Someone in chat will help me remember. But he did a Red Dead Redemption 2 video not long after I did my story on GameSpeak, explain why I thought it was a disappointment. And his video was point by point, all the stuff I was feeling. He did a great job. Nikki Jakey, thank you, everybody. He did a great job of extrapolating on those ideas and saying all the things that I was feeling. He then did another video recently, I think last year, where he went back to Red Dead Redemption 2 and he said, I found ways to appreciate it. He mostly found ways to appreciate it by installing mods. And I think that is probably my way to get to a game that I will really love from Red Dead Redemption 2 is make it my own. Sure. And so I will probably go that route, and I'm sure I would have a good time with that. Yeah.
Big Naturals. I got it, Grub.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding what I'm putting down.
I think it speaks to how good of a game Bowser's Fury is, because when you three and Sean get into the competitive mode, I notice a little bit of tension and salt building up.
Always.
But I don't think there was any real tension or any real fury or hurry amongst y'all. Y'all were just enjoying the game.
It was a race.
In a bit, but that's it.
I would have played it probably a bit differently. Like if we weren't racing at every one of those islands, I would have gotten all 5 of those collectibles and stuff like that. But like, it was a fun addition to it where it's like, am I going to waste the time to find these last 2 cat things, or do I need to fucking move here? Like, I would do this exact race again with this exact same game. Like, I feel like it feels evergreen to me. It was so much fun.
Yep, and it was a good time.
Because of that stream, Dan Reichert, you had to play Crimson Skies.
Yeah, so I won Bowser's Hurry, and so we got to pick a classic retro game to play that we hadn't played before. So I picked
the bold-faced lie.
No, I lost, and Mike gave his punishment homework assignment, which for those who didn't see it, the punishment was the winner got to pick a game that the 3 losers had to play that they had not played before, and the idea was it's a good game. It's not like a Blight Club type thing. And so Mike picked Crimson Skies for me for the original Xbox, and it's very backwards compatible, and it is really good. It is something that, like, if I'm enjoying it a lot right now, but it is so in that almost like Twisted Metal Rogue Squadron style of just like, here's a big empty or here's a big map. There's collectibles, there's power-ups, there's heal spots, there's a bunch of enemies, there's boss fights, but like there's a lot of variety in it that I don't think I expected. There's a lot of like, okay, escort this Zeppelin, go, here's a gyrocopter, go collect this fragile delivery and try to bring it through a canyon. Lure this enemy ship into a canyon where we've got a bunch of anti-air stuff going off. And you can also get out of your plane and take, like, you can go to a friendly Zeppelin and take over the turret on top. You can switch to the turret on the bottom. Like, there's robbing a train. There's like kind of trials of, flight and combat and stuff. Like, there's just a lot of variety that I don't think I would have expected in this like Xbox era, playing game. I grew up on Ace Combat on PlayStation, which are great games, but this has a lot more variety than that, I think.
They're making an adventure game, not like an adventurous game, not adventure the genre.
It's kind of like it's like Sky Captain type.
Indiana Jones
that's one thing I always liked about there's so many games where the setting or theme is sci-fi, fantasy, modern warfare. And this one has that very pulpy 1940s adventure film kind of thing. And, like the music does that so well, too. Just the way the radio chatter is, all the ways, people talk. It captures that specific feel very well. And also lots of turret sections. I thought Dan would like that.
I love a good turret section. Even like it's just got those dumb little missions that I'm sure drive some people nuts. But I love where it's like, all right, follow this plane that's dropping weather balloons, and you need to shoot all the ones that don't have a blue cross on them. And so it's like you have a time limit, and it's like you have to kill 19 of these things, and you can't hit a single blue one. It's just like shooting gallery stuff, but it all controls well. I'm surprised there's not like a cockpit view for the planes, but I think I'm over halfway through it now, and I've really, really enjoyed it. So good choice, Mike.
Glad you are having fun with it. Now you can join me on my yelling crusade to get them to make a new one, because I think a game like this, this game's already surprisingly open, like you talk about, but one like a really big, continuous open world and with modern graphics, God, that would be incredible.
Yeah.
I see you two have also banded together to also play Donkey Kong Country Returns HD.
Yeah.
I stand by. It's one of the best platformers of all time.
Oh.
I mean, 2D, maybe. I'm enjoying it. I didn't play it before, so this is my first time going through it, and I am having a lot of fun with it. Especially in like original Donkey Kong Country, you get to a minecart level and you're like a little weird, like, oh god, this is gonna maybe be a little annoying. The minecart levels here are really fun. I like the Angry Bird style rocket barrel levels even more.
Yes,
those good music.
No, that's like Flappy Bird, where it's just like a lot of like tapping to like you go up and down. Yeah,
sorry. Exactly. The Flappy Bird style thing there is really good. Yeah, it's just kind of really altogether solid. I sometimes I hate myself for this. I have this problem with the 2D Mario games sometimes too.
Yourself, bud.
It's a big problem. But like I have more fun if I don't care about things like getting the Kong letters a lot of times. But I also can't help myself.
I pass up on the puzzle pieces. I mean, when it originally came out, I 100% of the game got all the puzzle pieces and stuff. This one, I'm just doing Kong letters. but I can
Yeah.
pass up the puzzle pieces.
Yeah, so like again, it's because you can get to a pretty good flow state here, right? Especially with the rolling, and I always love that Donkey Kong Country move where you just roll off a ledge,
Yes.
Roll and then jump.
Yeah.
that coyote time, right? So that's fantastic. But so I kind of hate that I'm on a roll, and then like I see a letter, and I like stop and kind of like look around, like how do I get the letter? No, I kind of want to just keep going.
I think I know what you will say to this, but I
Sure.
think I'm going to say this. I don't know if I've ever thought this before. I think it's the best Donkey Kong game.
I would take.
I know
two.
you're going to say 94. You're going to say 94.
I would
Well,
say
okay, if
I
we
would say
count
94,
94,
but
then
yeah.
it's 94.
No, I'm saying anything with Donkey Kong in the name. I think this is
Anything
my
with Donkey
favorite.
Kong. I think even amongst the country games, I would
Two
take
is the
two.
next.
I would
Two is
take
my
two.
second favorite.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a ridiculous thing to say. Though. I
Okay.
could see,
No, yeah.
I could see this being a person's favorite for sure.
Okay. Yeah, I think it was also, it came out at a time where it's like, now it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of great 2D platformers, like especially like in the indie scene and stuff. As I'm playing like Celeste again, there are so many, but I remember when I reviewed this at Game Informer, what was it, 2010, something like that. We're still only like a few years into that like XBLA renaissance of all these like N plus and Explosion Man and like 2D, specifically 2D platformers, I think had just recently been kind of coming around. And so for me to see this like really good looking new Donkey Kong Country game was still like a novelty at the time, you know?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
You're right. Because for a while it was, it was almost like taboo to make a home console 2D platformer game for one of these big companies. And Nintendo was doing it a bit with like New Super Mario Brothers, but even then, a lot of that stuff was more for the portables. So yeah, we had New Super Mario Brothers Wii, but yeah, something about Donkey Kong Country Returns, it was like, no, we're just gonna make a lot of these. And in fact, for some franchises, this is maybe the better option. We tried Donkey Kong in 3D, and well, whatever. That was something. Maybe the 2D thing is better here. Now, for a while, I resented it a bit because it kind of took a while for them to get a little bit adventurous with 3D stuff again. Like Kirby was stuck in 2D forever. We haven't had a new 3D Donkey Kong. We haven't had a solo 3D Yoshi game. They just keep those series to 2D. Same thing with like Wario, right? We had like the fun GameCube 3D Wario game, and then that series just went back to 2D or micro games. But I am glad that they did eventually get over that kind of, being afraid to make 2D games thing for a while there.
Yeah, and especially this one, like coming out on the Switch makes sense to me because, like, as great as it was on the Wii, having to waggle to do the roll, and that's a very frequent thing you have to do, which sucked.
Yeah.
And then 3DS was better because you don't have to worry about that, but it's
Right.
also tied to the 3DS. So it's like, this is one that I want on my Switch. I want it to be backwards compatible. On my Switch 2, I want to just be able to play this game without doing waggle bullshit.
Yeah. That's the work that I kind of want them to do with a lot of their games that are stuck on these sort of consoles is just get them set up for the long term on the Switch, and that'll be good. And yeah, seeing that for Donkey Kong is fantastic. And they made a big point about, hey, now all the Donkey Kong Country games are on the Switch. I think they're going to do that with a lot of franchises.
I still haven't beat Donkey Kong Country 3. That's the only one I haven't beat.
It's fun.
I've tried it so many times, and some of the level design, that big dumb baby Kong,
Yeah,
like I
big
just
dumb
like,
baby
ugh.
Kong.
I hate
People
that stupid
Kitty
baby.
Kong.
I hate him.
What is wrong with people? Hate that
I don't like
baby.
looking at him.
Look at that idiot.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, look
Yeah.
at him go. He's
Dixie's great. Love Dixie. Fucking
Speaking of
dumbass
people-
baby. Fuck that guy.
Speaking of people hating Kongs, you see like some people are really upset about the new Donkey Kong redesign.
I love that
I
new
think it
Donkey
looks
Kong.
It's
great,
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
Make him that
People are
across the
wrong.
board. I love it. It's been this
wrong.
since like the Super Nintendo, Like let's
Right.
get a new Donkey Kong in there.
And
Switch
like,
things up a little bit. It's okay.
well, I like the Donkey Kong Country designs, but like Rare's like talents have never been character design. Like kind of going back to a different
Hey.
design is fine. Listen, I love Rare.
I love Rare's dumbass characters.
It's just everything
Just
just has big eyes.
Wad of cash with eyes.
Yeah.
Flower with boobs.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Giant thing of poop.
Nope.
Giant thing of poop.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, there's no way to transition to Dark Souls 3. So, Mikey, tell me all about it.
Actually, I have been picking up a lot of dung piles in that game. So
Yeah.
there
Thank you
go.
for saving me.
Yeah, I've been kind of working through the Dark Souls series. Started 3 up a couple weeks ago. I was always looking forward to this one because I knew it was going to be, a little bit faster paced, a bit more Elden Ring like, and always. I like the slower pace of Dark Souls 1 just fine, but I was excited to do something that was going to feel more like Elden Ring, doing my dex build. So I'm doing a lot more rolling and whatnot. Boy, yeah, having a great time. Very, very pretty game. A lot of really interesting looking areas, like the one place that basically looks like a Winter Thomas Kincaid painting. Fun bosses. I will say that I did the first DLC the other day, I think my streaming, my chat tricked me into doing it earlier than I should have. And I did not enjoy that. I was in like some snowy place inside of a painting. It suddenly kind of felt a bit like Dark Souls 2 again, where there's like all these areas where 8 enemies are attacking me at once, and there's nothing I can really do about that. So I'm just trying to run past them. Then they kill me anyways, and it's just kind of really annoying levels with bad platforming sections here or there. And I'm wandering around for hours before I even find a boss that I want to fight. Then I got to the boss, and it was very difficult. Then surprised it had a phase 2. So then I, had to try harder and beat the phase 2, and that was very difficult. I was real proud of myself. Then the fucker had a phase 3, and then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go do something else for a while. I'll come back to this part later then. I'm not banging my head against this wall forever. So big, not a super big fan of that DLC, but Dark Souls 3 in general, very good. Might be my favorite of those games so far.
Lovely. Jeff Grubb, I have no idea what this is that you put on the dock here. This looks like an acid trip. Soundself, a Technodelic?
Oh, yeah, that's an acid trip.
Oh.
So it's okay. So I was at my first E3. No, it could have been the first. It was an early E3. Early VR stuff was getting shown off. Now I'm saying it. This might have been a GDC. And it was like there's this weird person who had a VR headset. Say, hey, come, like meditate with my VR game. I'm like, okay, I'll go see what this is about. And they put me in like the development kit 1 Oculus Rift headset thing with the like really bad screen, all that stuff. But I just like laid down on a pillow in the middle of GDC, and there was the microphone could pick up your humming, and you're supposed to go, and then the speakers of the VR headset feeds that back to you, and then sometimes like messes around with that sound a little bit, and you get in this loop, and then they just plays like Winamp visualizer stuff in front of you. So the way it works now is this was on Steam. They took it off Steam a couple years ago, actually. I think they shifted it over to be actually like a medical app or something like that, or actually to use it in real therapy. But since I had bought it, I still have it on Steam. And the way it works now is you are laying in a field and you start to make your transcendental meditation sound, whatever it is. You go, and the leaves on the tree begin to like sway, and like you could kind of see this little twirl of branches up at the top of the tree. And every time like you take a breath and do a new sound, it like shifts you up towards that little part of the branch until you begin to like enter into it. And then that's when like the universe opens up in front of you and basically turns into the Winamp visualizer again. It is a very cool trick. It's a very neat thing to experience to the point where it's like you just kind of get into this flow state, and you do feel like the self begin to like fade away, and you're just in this moment. And then all of a sudden it's over, and they put you right back into the field underneath the tree. And I just take off the headset. I'm like, all right, I'm ready for my day. It's a very weird, neat thing that I'm super into. And I always forget about it. And then I was just in my VR headset the other day. I was going to play some stuff on the beanbag, and I saw that in my VR thing on Steam, and I just streamed it to that. And it's like, oh yeah, that thing. And so I've only done it a couple times in my life, but each time I'm like, this is a really cool, neat thing that I wish more people had known about.
You sure you didn't just do DMT?
No, I'm not sure.
Okay.
What's
Definitely
that?
possible.
It's a drug.
Don't worry, Mike. You'll
things
know.
happen like what he described. All right, I'm looking at images on the Oculus webpage, and yeah, it looks like a Winamp visualizer. I would try this.
You should, yeah. If there's a way for anyone to try, yeah, it's very neat. I think you would like it, Dan.
Should I have marijuana first?
It helped me.
Okay.
I have to call the cops.
Yeah.
Imagine
No,
how
it's legal, brother.
disappointed.
It's legal.
Imagine how disappointed your dare camp counselor would be, Dan.
If you tell on us, Mike, we're gonna have your brother sent to prison for stealing
don't.
hats.
Yep.
All right, the Minotti family
We're
empire
doing
will
legal
crumble in
shit.
front of us.
Our stuff is legal.
Speaking about getting into a flow state, Dan Reichert, have you entered a flow state while playing Clone Hero?
Oh, this has been interesting. I saw, I think I saw Steve Saylor posted like an Instagram story, and I saw them playing like on a modern TV and console with like these sharp-looking guitars, and like, what the hell is that? And I messaged him. I was like, what guitar is that? What are you playing? And he told me it was the PDP Riffmaster, and so I got one of those. I got the Xbox and PC one, and goddamn, well, my first thought was like, okay, back in the day, all my Rock Band and Guitar Hero stuff was on Xbox. So I'll get the Xbox One. I looked it up. It should be able to pull in all the old sound, the song packs and everything I got. And so I loaded up Rock Band 4 at first. I bought the Rivals bundle. And sure enough, it's like all the Rock Band 4 tracks, which I didn't love. And I thought I had more tracks. Maybe I'm thinking of Guitar Hero or something. But it was just like, here's a Queens of the Stone Age pack. Here's a David Bowie pack. But I had like 100 songs or something. And then shout out to Nikki telling me about Clone Hero. And Nikki also sent some links that were very helpful at making that work easily. And so I immediately, there's, Led Zeppelin, all the stuff that you wouldn't normally find on Guitar Hero. I mean, I don't know how legal it all is or whatever, but
so it's not just the
I swear to
Menotti.
God.
Oh, weird. There's stuff like Guns N' Roses. I don't know why they never put Appetite for Destruction in Rock Band or anything.
No way to know for sure why that didn't happen.
It's impossible to know, but now it's like, wow, you can play Sweet Child of Mine and all this stuff on Rock Band. My brother-in-law's band had Thank You Scientist had 80 tracks on there, and it's like, what a cool.
Awesome.
I downloaded Cody Rhodes' theme song. I got Stone Cold's theme song. They didn't have Batista. I got John Cena. So it's like, playing John Cena's theme on a guitar. Clone Hero seems awesome. I mean, it's not like the fanciest layout. I've seen you can do your own backgrounds and stuff like that.
You just want to play the songs, right?
I just want to play the songs, and it's just like the search. There's software and stuff out there where you can find a whole lot of songs and stuff to download, and it works real. And also, that guitar is awesome. The guitar is great.
Yeah, that's my question. Do you think it'd be worth the price?
How much is it?
That's a very good question.
I think it's like 120 or something. I mean, if you want to play, it is really solid. It is. I like it better than the old guitar. It's wireless. It's got a dongle, and the cool thing is it has this flip down thing where the whole kind of fret bar or whatever you want to call it. I'm not a musician. Flips down, and so you can just fit it back into the box. Or I've got it in this little thing here. Yeah, it's nice. It's a really solid guitar.
I've done this same exact setup, but for DDR with Step Mania, which is an app you can download that's basically just Clone Hero for DDR. I basically have that set up on this computer all the time. That's the way to do it these days. Because the community sport is off the chart for all these things.
Yeah. So really, really enjoying that. So it's great to have that.
Grub, I've seen a couple people streaming that washing machine looking rhythm game.
Yeah. The one I just played that at Games Done Quick.
Yeah.
I need to figure out a way. We need to get you that washing machine setup at home because I'd love to you have the camera set in front of the screen or behind the screen, so you're staring at the people as you're doing the rhythm game. It'd be great.
That'd be my whole job.
Thing was really fun.
It was great. I was really getting into it, dancing. I have some video. AJ got some video of us, so I'll see if I can share that.
You're not speaking to Chris anymore. That's right.
No, that's right. Yeah.
My is what the washing machine game is called, apparently. Okay. Cool. It'd be a nice top-down view for a stream, just like it is a top-down isometric game that I've been playing called Supervive. I saw someone chatting about this on the Twitch chat last week while I was talking about Marvel Rivals. Supervive is a isometric squad-based battle royale. If you look at it just from screenshots of the trailer, it'll remind you of a Dota 2, perhaps a League of Legends. And it's out in early access right now, and I really wish I liked it more because I do have a little bit of the League bug or the League virus still within me that I've been keeping at bay. It's just, I don't know if I like controlling an isometric character through WASD. I'd rather do just mouse to flick them around and trigger off abilities. It's okay. I think the problem is because it's an early access, and I've been spoiled by games like Marvel Rivals. There's a very small character pool from the jump, and they do the thing where you take turns with your teammates to walk off and select characters. So I got stuck with a character that I wasn't super familiar with. The tutorial didn't do a good job at showing all of the characters that you can mess around with at early access. And it is bedlam because you launch onto a map just like you would in Fortnite or PUBG. And then from there, you are kind of learning the lay of the land and looking for other teams. The thing is, much like a Fortnite, if you get eliminated or you get killed, your party has the ability to revive you. And it seems like it is near unlimited revives, and you don't need to go to a specific location like you would for like a revive van in Fortnite. The part that I am not meshing well with is it is a little too chaotic for me, and on top of the controls, and just everything kills you. We wound up on a train, and there wasn't an easy way to communicate with my party members of where we were going or what the danger was. And then the train killed me, not because it ran me over, but it had a bunch of weird turrets that I didn't realize were enemies or like a stage hazard. The neat thing, though, is there is a glider in the game that is a big component of the game because there's some light platforming. And if you shoot someone while they're gliding, they instantly drop. So I did get a couple fun kills that way because they just fell to their doom. But overall, I wasn't really clicking well with Supervive. But a game with a gigantic gun or a gigantic sword in it that I do want to check out, Dan, you taking a look at Blade Chimera.
Oh, yeah. This is the one I wanted to get. I'm getting it right now.
It has guns and swords. Yeah, it is a Metroidvania, which, boy, I've just been lousy with Metroidvanias lately between the Dominus collection and this. And
it's an embarrassment of riches out there right now.
It is, and it's one of my favorite genres I never get tired of. So whenever I hear there's a good one, I jump in, and probably a couple hours into this one. Very good so far. So square and circle, you can map to whatever weapon. So guns, swords, things like that. So like right now I've got like an assault rifle thing, and I just have like the sword on X. Or sorry, I'm playing on Xbox. So X is my sword, B is my guns. And then Y is this like spirit sword. It's almost like the Skyward Sword. Like turns sometimes it's the lady, sometimes it's the sword. It talks to you, all that stuff. And it's called Lux. And so the sword is, so there's like two different bars. There's your health, and then there's your Lux bar, which is like your spirit sword thing. And if you get kills with your standard weapons, your guns and swords, you recharge your Lux energy, which is like your MP. If you get kills with your Lux abilities and sword and all that stuff, you get health. So it's kind of like a miniature version of that Doom Eternal kind of like health and ammo economy thing. And it's cool. Like they like when you get skill points and things, there are the usual like, okay, here's the kind of like dash down jump, here's the slide, or you can do things where you're unlocking things like, oh, your Lux ability can now you set this thing like almost like a turret and sprays a bunch of bullets in a certain way. So you can turn those on and off. So it's got kind of a good skill tree situation going on there. But great boss fights. It's a lot of the pain in the ass parts of Metroidvanias, like the backtracking and things like that, are really nullified here by you can just warp to most places. Like one of the first things I unlocked was the ability to just like look at a place on the map and just say warp there. It doesn't have to be a warp room. Doesn't have to be anything like that. There are certain areas where you can't do that, but for the most part, you can just kind of warp around. So it's not that constant like, oh, I got to get back to the save room where I'm going to die. You can usually just warp back there and save. But yeah, great boss fights. Some weird enemies that I've enjoyed. It's really solid. Only a couple hours in, but I am going to keep going with it. But
this is an actual 2025 game, which there hasn't been a lot of January releases here, which has been nice in a way because it has been letting me kind of play some older things here. Sure. But would like to check out a 2025 Metroidvania, especially before the deluge of big releases starts next month.
Yeah. I mean, God, this just does look like Game Boy Advance Castlevanias, and where they're like, here, we have an idea for an enemy. How can we do it in 2D? Here's a big cat. I don't know. Just have its head be on this plane and the rest of its body be in the background. And I love that shit. I love the way that stuff looks.
I think you'd like it, and there's like some cool puzzle elements that like I haven't really seen as much in Metroidvanias, where it's like there's a UV light will kill your spirit sword, so you have to find ways to like, okay, I'm going to stick the sword, because you can stick the sword in walls and the ground and stuff like that. So if you throw it in the ground, it creates like a bubble shield around you that'll guard you against projectiles. Cool. If you throw it against a wall, like let's say you're jumping up towards a wall, if you hold Y, it'll throw the sword in and you'll like get to use it as a platform. So the sword is pretty versatile, but like let's say you're about to go into this UV thing. Oh shit, I can't walk through it. It's going to kill my sword. You can stick the sword in the wall or the ground. Then you, as your person, go through the thing until the direct line of you to the sword doesn't go through any UV. And then you can kind of like God of War axe it back to your hands. So just some fun stuff like that. Yeah, it's a pretty unique one. I've enjoyed it.
It sounds vague. I think I must have played this in like a Steam Next Fest last year or something like that because it looks familiar and sounds familiar. I bet that's what happened. So, yeah, I'm ready to play this. I think I heard or saw Patrick Klepek talking about it as well. And so like this morning, I'm like, oh yeah, I should add that to the list. And then forgot. So I'm glad you brought it up. I have now added it to my account. I'm going to download on the Steam Deck tonight.
It's fantastic. I've only played it on the Steam Deck. It's great for that.
More games should have spirit swords.
Yeah,
I like spirit swords. Yeah,
like a gigantic one following me at all times. That I'd feel safe.
What about like Soul Calibur, like swords that have like goopy eyeballs and stuff? I like.
I mean,
that.
if they do have the souls of human beings in there, that's good. I can handle that.
Will I get corrupted, or am I already corrupted?
I think the fact that you want one of these swords means you're already corrupted.
But so Jan is Siegfried right now. I do want to see what Nightmare Jan looks like.
Okay. Oh, guys, we aren't ready for that.
Some jungle juice.
Let me tell you. Oh boy, give me a couple months. I'll show y'all Nightmare Jan.
Yeah, we'll go back. We'll go back to working at the coffee shop, and that was Nightmare Jan.
Glowing eyes.
He's going to be one of the people, pushing the kids aside to get a box of Pokemon cards or whatever.
See, I'm reformed. I could have just jumped the line and stolen those Pokemon cards, or jump some of those nerds.
Let's make a Scared Straight miniseries with Jan talk like reforming Pokemon nerds.
I'll do it because they fucking need it. Go outside, stop trying to make money selling cards, and go get a blue collar job. God damn it!
Oh yeah, I'm watching.
All right, friends, we're gonna take a quick bricky break because that about does it for games. I like how quiet it is right now. It's about to get so fucking loud with video games soon.
Yep.
February is right around the corner, boys. And the news is right around the corner as well. And we'll hear about it right after this break. Jeff Grubb, I actually have the first news story today.
Yeah, please.
Due to social obligations, I helped chaperone a high school dance.
Okay.
And
Yes. Normal thing.
the DJ was taking requests.
Oh.
And I asked
Googly
him,
moogly, that thing is juicy.
I asked him, hey, I think it'd be hilarious if you put on the Macarena.
Oh.
I just
Oh,
saw what happened.
Yeah. And then he said, no, I am not going to play the Macarena.
What a funny duddy.
DJs,
Exactly.
like, God, they love the power that they wield over us.
Oh, yes, they do. They love it. That is their throne, right?
Yeah.
That is their court, and they love to tell us no.
Yeah, like I think we were at some bar in LA, and I think I went up to the DJ and requested a song, and I got the vibe that I had violated him by requesting a song. So I was like, oh, Jesus.
I don't
all
think
right.
I trust DJs in
I
general.
don't. Yeah, I think I'm coming to your side on this.
I think in general, if somebody says they're a DJ, I'm instantly like, all right, let's.
Right.
You're
right.
putting yourself down here, and you got to climb out of a hole there. you
I
know?
want to be careful because gosh, I used to go out so much. I like get friends with a couple DJs if they happen to be listening. Not
Listen,
you.
They're better than jugglers, but not much. All
Hey,
right.
Except
Worse than
for the record,
juggalos.
DJ ass tits, just perfect.
Oh,
no
well,
problems with DJ
that's
ass
a
tits.
very
different.
different kind of DJ we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
DJ
art.
ass tits is art.
Yes.
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 Yeah, I don't. Anyway, I was very offended, and then high school dances are terrible. Even witnessing them as an adult.
Never
I
been to
guess
one.
I guess I shouldn't ask, but I am just so curious how you ended up chaperoning a high school dance. Jeff.
Social obligations, Mikey.
Okay, all right.
That's the odd
I hate
life
those
I
things.
live. Anyway, Jeff Grubb, the actual news.
Yeah. My first news story is my kids now say the word clipboard instead of clipboard.
Oh.
So they love it. Actually, they love
Oh,
saying
no.
clipboard. They're out there all the time. They got little
That's my
toy.
favorite big red dog.
Yes, Clipboard the big red dog. They love mini things, tiny little things. They have a mini locker now for their toys, and they have mini school supplies, and they take all their toys to school, and they use all the mini objects and stuff. And one of them is a mini clipboard. And I mentioned my friend calls that a clipboard, and they're like, "Well, now we do too." And
Yeah.
so, yeah, they're all over.
What about Minnie Mouse?
No, they've never heard of her.
Damn.
Oh, yeah.
That clip show someone put together of the voicemail dump truck came out, and I think that was one of the conversations they
It was.
selected for
Oh,
that.
thank you
So,
for doing that.
Oh,
That's
where'd that
great.
come from? Yeah.
yes, I said someone should make a clip show, and then someone just edited a clip show, and it's out there. It's pretty good.
Shout out to you.
Yeah, they did a
send me the
good
link.
job. It's CT Lens with a Z at the end on YouTube. So
Thank you,
yeah, shout outs to them. All right, news. Hey, the Switch 2 was announced. We'll go over the basics again real quick. Showed off the form factor in a new Mario Kart. Mario Kart had 24 places at its starting grid, so people are thinking maybe there could be 24 racers instead of the 12 that were Mario Kart 8. The system itself is bigger. The screen is bigger. It has a smaller bezel. It is backward compatible. There are some exceptions they noted, but they did not say what kind of exceptions. People are speculating that because of the larger form factor, the Joy-Con won't work with stuff like Labo. So things along that sort of problem, and not with like, oh, there's a software issue and some games just won't run, although we don't know for sure yet. There was no price or release date. A bigger reveal is happening on April 2nd. I think they called it a Nintendo Direct, dedicated to the Switch 2 at that point. More leaks have come out since then, and one seems to confirm that the Switch 2 will have Hall effect Joy-Con analog sensors inside them. Basically, the thing the Dreamcast had that solved drift 25 years ago, Jesus. And now Nintendo's going to be doing that as well so that they can avoid drift, because they never really solved drift with the Switch 1. It was a problem up to the end.
Can you do a layperson's explanation of Hall effect? Because it's something I hear a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, basically, it just uses a magnetic field to tell where another magnet inside that field is, and it's 1-to-1 every time. It's more complicated than that, but that's the layman's explanation. Is it uses magnets.
How do they
Also,
work?
we'll never know.
Okay.
Another explanation of Hall effect is when you just keep a toothpick in your mouth and you throw it dramatically for cool effect to be the bad guy.
And you get on
Oh,
the gravy
the
train for the
Scott Hall,
royalties.
man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if you were going to go with Scott Hall or Hall and Oates, but okay.
Similar
Yeah.
dudes.
I always go with Scott Hall.
Yeah.
Skull Hall.
Skull Hall.
The Switch 2 trailer has 17 million views already, which it reached faster than the PS5 reveal video. If you want to take anything from that, I think it has with fewer views than the Switch 1 trailer did at this point. So who the hell knows? Views are free. It's not like you can tell much by that. And now Nacon, a third-party publisher, I think they might have published that RoboCop game last year or the year before that, has told investors it expects Switch 2 to launch between April and September. Again, we do not have a release date yet. So it's been about a little bit less than a week for us since we saw this Switch 2 stuff. We've talked about it a lot in a lot of different venues. What are you guys' thoughts on the Switch 2 at this point?
I'm excited. I think people are getting all up in arms about the lack of a fun gimmick. I think we will have. We will have.
Whatever happened to fun, Nintendo guys?
Oh my! I am actually starting to get a little tilted from
Because it's a crazy thing to say.
It's a crazy thing to say. Like, right? I mean, of course, it was going to just be the Switch 2, and they already are putting in probably more weird little gimmicky things than I thought. I don't know what people wanted, but also, like, what was the real innovation with the Switch, the home console, the portable thing? The things that really mattered were like innovations in software, like Breath of the Wild, doing crazy things. You could still innovate on that level with gameplay, and that matters so much more that we added a second screen to the thing again, which, by the way, wouldn't be an innovation. It's just I'm doing an old thing from before that you liked.
I agree with if you know Alex Perry. I saw him post something like prior to the Switch, the hardware gimmicks that Nintendo put into their systems were like an obstacle. It's something that you just had to deal with to play the great games.
Yeah.
The gamepad, the Wii waggle, all that stuff. It's like, it's not what made them great. It was just like, all right. Like I was talking about Donkey Kong Country Returns earlier.
Yeah.
Great fucking game. I just had to deal with the waggle to do it. It's not like the waggle made that a great game. So like, I don't give a shit. Like, look, the Switch is one of the best consoles of all time. And the gimmick is a thing that actually matters and works. And like, just make the next one like that.
It's also just like a failure in pattern recognition because this was never going to be the system that was going to be weird again, because Nintendo does one thing over and over again. They released the NES, then there's the Super Nintendo. They had the Game Boy, then they had the Game Boy Advance.
Always sequel systems. When a system's a hit, there's a sequel.
They always do a sequel system to their hits. There was the Wii, there was the Wii U, there was the DS, there was the 3DS.
There's the 64DD.
There's 64DD. Like, the children won't stop talking about it. Yeah, big naturals, the system.
Tetrasphere with big naturals.
That's my favorite mod, honestly.
I don't know why that's the first game I've
Yep, Tetrasphere, big naturals mod. Jesus. This was always going to be the Switch 2 follow-up. It was always going to be the Game Boy Advance to the Game Boy. So people like taking this and extrapolating as creative Nintendo is dead are weird and wrong and odd, and I don't know what's wrong with them. Like, let's wait a little bit before we declare that to be the situation.
I mean, a couple seconds of that reveal trailer showed the new Joy-Cons being used as mice. Not directly used as mice, but like alluded to.
Yes, suggestive.
And just wait, y'all. we got a trailer that barely showed anything. Just wait till they actually show stuff off. I'm still a proponent that those Joy-Cons will be used in a dumb optional way to control your Mario Karts.
Yeah, you're gonna be annoyed by something about this system without a doubt, for sure. And then they'll have fun little side gimmicks similar to Street Pass that we don't know about yet. That stuff will still happen too.
I'm assuming that the Joy-Cons, since they are magnetic now, they will only latch onto the Switch itself, right?
What do you mean? Like, as opposed to
I mean, if they wanted to do like a Labo gimmick type thing, they could conceivably do weird accessories and stuff like the Wii golf clubs and stuff like that.
You have to have the base things also have the other end of that magnet again.
Yeah.
Right? It's going to have that. I forget if we saw, but it's going to have another one of those like mid connector shells that you can use as a controller, right?
Sure.
They showed that.
I just want to be able to slap on weird stuff magnetically to my Switch 2.
Yeah,
you want to put a fridge
There'll be a
back?
lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there will be a lot of that for sure. Some of the other, we're in the puddle news area where people are only fixate on the stuff that really scares them. And right now, one of the main things for that is the sort of tongue that sticks out of where the Joy-Con connects to, that little connector slot, the extending slot that is inside the hole where the Joy-Con goes into. People are looking at that and saying that's going to break, and that is a point of failure, and we should all be freaking out. Do you guys get that sense when you first looked at that thing?
It would suck if it broke. Let's see if it breaks first.
Right. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel like every time I disconnected the when you would attach the little like side gimmicks to the Joy-Con to play like snipper clips or Mario Party, it always feels weird pressing that little button and like there's like a crack, like ooh, I don't like that sound at all, but like it's never actually broke anything.
Yep. Yeah, and my assumption here is they've tested this, and it probably will not break. It's not going to be that thing.
Like I understand people being like skeptical and worried because we did have the Joy-Con drift issue, right? And yeah, hey, look, if an issue like shows up, that would suck, and we should do something about that. But I'm not like watching a video and trying to pinpoint what I think the next red ring of death is going to be.
Right. Yep. And I mean, Nintendo knows that part of their core audience will be children that may roughhouse with their Switch. So
yes. Yeah, that's why I have faith too.
Yeah.
Is an outward facing little thing like that. It will be a great focus for them being like, what about kids? They will do that. It will, if there is a point of failure, it will be something like drift inside the system, overlooked, cheap component, takes time to fail. It'll be something along those lines.
It'll be the kickstand.
It'll be the Bacalar kickstand, the Bacalar stand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Nacon, between April and September, I've thought about this a little bit more because I'm like, they'll skip summer if it's not coming in the summer, so it's either April, May, or in the fall. I guess why wouldn't they release it in summer? I'm trying to think of the reason I felt that way, and it was just a gut feeling of it's a bad time to launch a console. It doesn't make a ton of sense. But why did I feel that way? I don't know.
Summer vacation, people aren't home. Maybe.
Yeah, I think so, but I think
but for the Switch 2 doesn't matter.
Maybe the Switch 2 doesn't matter. Yeah, it's even the kind of system where like a family buys it on vacation and takes it to their their bungalow, their Airbnb, and hangs out with it there. Yeah, the rooftop parties that they're attending. So April to September does still sound plausible. I think I would probably lean closer to September though, if it doesn't come out like in May. If it's not May, it's going to be later in the summer.
I have some May-June hopes personally, but
I hope
could be anywhere in that window.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like September, just because that next direct where they're going to talk about the Switch more will be in April, and you want to give people enough time to get their pre-orders in and everything. You think June would be too short of a turnaround time for that?
No, I mean, 'cause again, I think May is possible. Like I honestly, like if I had to do the chart it out and be like the bell curve, I think the fat part of the bell curve is May. That's like the most likely
gonna be May
time. It's going to be May, and then June I think is quite a bit less likely, but still likely. And then I think July. I just can't see it launching in July. I guess that's the thing. Late August, September, that all makes sense. All right. Sony has canceled 2 more live service games, reportedly including a God of War live service game that was being made at Bluepoint. There's some details here. The other game was at Bend Studio. We don't know what Bend was making. This was part of a reassessment that is, there was multiple reasons why they were doing these reviews. Some of it is that's just the normal course of business. They also were doing these reviews because there are new co-CEOs and they want to get their hands on everything, make sure they understand everything. But let's be real. Also, Concord happened, and there's definitely a sense of what didn't we see and why didn't we see it, that they are going to go back and try to apply to every single one of these games that they're making. And all of those factors weighed on these things, and this process started in December, and so they were like going through December, kind of leaked a little bit into January, and then everyone found out that these games are getting shut down. And it's a relatively recent thing. So these studios are not necessarily been able to figure out what they're going to do next. I'm sure they have some ideas. Again, the process started in December. So at that time, if they're looking around and reading the writing on the wall at Bend and at Bluepoint, they probably did start thinking, what are some other projects we could be working on? But yeah, this is definitely the continued fallout from what happened with Concord. And I'm not too surprised that they don't want to go through with these things, but boy, that is a lot of time and effort and money thrown down the drain for games that will never come out, and a lot of human hours spent working on these games that will just be wasted.
Grub, I think there's also a third game that has been canceled, the Horizon MMO, or
that's
a
oh
Horizon
no
MMO.
Yeah, that is the latest rumor. I can't confirm that. I don't know, but
Sure.
yeah, that's definitely just popped off today.
And
I think.
apparently that was like that's different from the Guerrilla made her online Horizon survival game somehow. So
Is it okay? Yeah,
So, yeah, there's
NCSoft
like, yeah.
Horizon MMO RPG. Okay, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. You definitely don't need that and whatever Gorilla is working on. That is a crazy thing that they were doing over there. But yeah, I mean, the live service stuff has fully fallen out over at Sony. They're not in love with that concept anymore. What I did hear is if these studios were to try to pitch new games, they definitely would not get the green light for live service games if that's what they tried to pitch. I don't think they would want to pitch that stuff this time around.
That's so frustrating because, like, I mean, 2 years ago they were so loud about that was the strategy.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the gravy train. And to pivot so hard from that is got to be incredible whiplash for these studios. I don't know, it's still just so shocking that in this desperate pursuit of line going up, you just hitch your wagon to whatever the trend is right now without any thought of, well, trends are trends, that they're called that for a reason. They don't last forever. How long is it going to take us to make these games? How confident are we in all of this? So just take ideas that only sound good in a boardroom meeting pitch, like God of War MMO or whatever it was, right? And like, well, okay, there we go. There's an IP and a buzzword. We got it right there. Especially when a studio like Bluepoint that was specifically so good at doing the thing that they were doing, these amazing remakes. I mean, oh, does a studio have to do that same thing forever and ever? Yeah, hey, maybe not. Maybe they could try something new or original. But live service, that was the pivot for them. Again, in this time and age,
Yeah.
where a game takes 5, 6, 7 years to make, and you cancel that, it's just all down the drain. And the problem with the PlayStation 5 already is that there just aren't that many PlayStation exclusives compared to the PS4, and especially compared to the PS3. So now, that time is wasted. And, we've already had that happen with things like Factions at Naughty Dog. God, even Ben would have been better off making freaking Dayshawn 2 instead of this. So, God, it's frustrating for me. I can't imagine how frustrating it is for these.
Oh, for sure.
studios.
Like, especially Bluepoint, who has done like really great work helping remaster stuff, to like make an original, or I guess it's something based off of God of War, which they've worked on, but like to ham fist them into like, all right, kind of make an original game that has to make us Boku bucks. It seems like a waste of that studio's talent.
Yeah, and Mike just mentioned it, the frustration. I mean, because it's the way this stuff works is, people, someone chats like, how much blame does Jim Ryan get? And the way it works is like Jim Ryan's not sitting around being like, here are my creative ideas for this studio and what they're going to make. I have the right ideas and I'm going to go tell that studio what to do. I want a God of War online live service game and you're going to make it. It just doesn't work that way. They hold the money bags, they hold the purse strings, and these studios get an idea of what the leadership is looking for. And for years, the leadership was looking for a pitch that would have said, God of War and live service. Can you get those two things in there? And if you do, you have a better chance of getting the green light. You have a better chance of getting a lot of funding so you can hire up and pay the people that you are already paying, pay them more, give them some security long term. So this is what they want to hear. This is what we're going to pitch them. Can we feel good about this pitch? It kind of it's reverse engineered in that way. And they take that to them and they get the green light. They think it's all good. And then one game goes bad and suddenly all that stuff gets thrown out through no fault of your own. The game you were working on probably was pretty decent, but is it decent enough to overcome the headwinds against live service games that are trying to enter a market that's oversaturated? Probably not. And so some new calculus comes out and all of the math that made it make sense before doesn't make sense now. And what are you left with? Going back to ground, and is Sony going to want to hear another remake from Bluepoint? It's like, well, we were trying to grow you. We were trying to make sure your next game made even more money than the last game did. And we're kind of going in an opposite direction. We're like, now let's remake this game and this maybe slightly lesser known game and this slightly lesser known game after that. It's like, no, we want to start building you up with something new going forward. And so it's like, whose fault is all this? I mean, clearly the leadership it's mismanagement. It is the mismanagement we've been talking about in this industry for a long time. But even they can't get a grasp on how to handle that to fix the problem, because it just sort of happens naturally when you give these leaders and these executives at these companies a certain set of environmental realities of these are the kinds of games that make a lot of money. People aren't spending a lot of time playing a bunch of different games. They are looking for their one hobby game. It turns out they've already selected that, but we don't know that. We've got to try to break in and get our lottery ticket going. And when that's the environment, they just default to these bad get over and over again. So yeah.
Now those are some real days gone.
Yeah, they sure are. Microsoft gets so much of the attention, right? With like, oh, Xbox is in big trouble. The failures there are pretty loud. And we see the consequences of that maybe more immediately. But PlayStation just has so many of the same exact challenges. And again, it's pretty loud too now with what happened with Concord. It is just it's hard to overstate kind of the impact that one game's failure is going to have on, PlayStation and even the industry.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean overall for Marathon, though? Because that is still being pitched as like a games or a live service game, right?
Better hit. There's also rumors that Bungie's making a MOBA too, right? So I don't know, but I feel like there's so many of these. Boy, that game better hit MOBAs in the industry right now, right? I mean, absolutely with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yes.
It's like that with Grand Theft Auto 6, which, it'd be weird if it didn't hit, but boy, it better hit.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, imagine what world we're going to be in if somehow Grand Theft Auto 6 had like a cyberpunk style launch and it was just everything was on fire and international news stories. It'd be a rough place. Yeah, it would be bad. Yeah, I mean, I just think that going forward, it's going to have to be like these companies are just going to do more cost cutting. They're probably going to cut more jobs while they try to figure out what's next. And it's like that survive to 25 is rough.
We continue this spiral of fewer and fewer games coming out, which specifically for PlayStation and Xbox is going to be a big problem, because that's the only differentiating thing now is these exclusives in a lot of way. Especially in a world where a Switch 2 is going to be able to play a lot more of these third-party games that you wouldn't necessarily have gone on the Switch before. I don't know. It seems kind of like a scary time in the future for these companies, and something's got to get figured out with PlayStation. Maybe it's this move to revive some older franchises. Then hey, now we can figure out what Bend and Bluepoint do. They can, help revive this old franchise, and they can make that real specific in some way. Maybe you can make them do something new, of course, but it seems like a slightly safer bet to do the old IP thing.
Yeah, it's I think they're just against the wall, right? Because they need to find new people to buy $500 consoles, and they've sort of run out. We buy a lot of those, but that is not a growing market, and so spending a lot of extra money making new games to entice people to buy that console. Well, we just said, new people aren't buying the console, so what are we doing this for? It's tough. That is why they continue to look outside of the console. Real quick about this, I did mention somewhere, now I don't remember where, that people at the studios found out at the same time as the story went live. And while that is definitely true for some people, it definitely is true because and really there was an email that went out about a half an hour before the story went live over on Bloomberg. And many people did find out then, but of course some leadership knew. Like I said, the conversations about the review for these games was happening since December. So definitely some people had known for a while. And how that stuff is disseminated internally at these studios is always going to be different from studio to studio. So maybe a lot of people knew it, one or the other. But really what I was just trying to say is this stuff is happening nowish, recently, in the last couple of weeks, and their future is still very much uncertain about what they're going to be working on next. All right, let's see here. Let me get back onto the right dock here. Okay. Dragon Age director leaves BioWare for an offer she couldn't turn down. Corin Bush, the game director of Dragon Age The Veilguard, is leaving BioWare after 18 years at Electronic Arts. Bush stated that her decision was based on a personal fulfillment and a desire for a new challenge. She expressed pride in her work on Dragon Age The Veilguard, stating that she helped bring the game back to a proper quality single-player RPG. People don't remember, that game was going to be multiplayer online, and Corin Bush came in and kind of rescued it and turned it into the game it is. That is noticeable and respectable as a single player RPG, even if not everyone loved it. It was clearly a rescue project that she is largely responsible for. Bush now acknowledged the challenges of the game's development cycle and the toll it took on her. While she believes BioWare is on the right track culturally, she also noted that there's still work to be done. But yeah, basically she is going to a new job to make a new RPG at a different company after 18 years, moving up the chain at EA. And really, I think that's what these stories always are. We hear about a lot of directors leaving studios after making a project. There's only so far you can go up inside of a publisher like EA, and eventually then you just run out of runway to continue improving your career. So at a certain point, if you want to move on, you got to move on to a place where it's like, well, maybe I could see myself becoming a chief executive or a chief creative officer or something like that. And that's just not going to happen at EA for someone working on the Dragon Age game, at least not not immediately. It would take decades to get to position yourself in that sort of thing. So really, this is just, hey, I want to continue growing in my career. This is the best way to do that. So yeah, she's moving on, and
Jeff,
a lot of people at these studios are working on Mass Effect. Go ahead.
Well, what the studio? I thought that I heard that one, she was fired, and that two, they're closing BioWare Edmonton because the game was woke and sold bad.
Yeah. So this reporting initially came out of some online weirdos who immediately used it to lie, that say that the studio was closing down. And everyone I've tried to talk to about that says, "What? No, there's nothing to that." BioWare Edmonton is reportedly going to close down in February, according to online liars, people who are their whole job is to grift and make people mad about woke and get paid money by doing that. Why would they have a reason to lie about such a thing? I can't imagine. But they did. And so when I was originally told about the story, I didn't even know about that. But I was told about the story. It was just that she's moving on, and that's true. And the letter is real. And here it is. And the studio is probably not going to close down. They are all working on Mass Effect. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks. I'll continue stealing my stories from those guys. Absolutely.
Stealing?
Yeah. Plagiarism. That's what plagiarism is.
Yeah,
Mike.
you're going to get sued.
I'm going to get sued for plagiarism.
Yeah, because of your big story exclusive that you said was... I don't know. It's insane. I've been deleting a lot of comments on YouTube lately. And I tell you what, keep making them, Chuds. It brings me so much joy to delete each and every one of them. It's so easy for me.
Engagement.
Yeah, that's right. All right. Some more stories here. Analysts hope that GTA 6 will cost as much as $100. Basically, an analyst put out some 200-page report. Doesn't seem very good. One of the suggestions is that people are hoping that Grand Theft Auto 6 will be $100, because then that would give permission and leeway and sort of the cultural space for other publishers to charge $80 or $90 for their games that are not GTA 6. And then that money will help make this whole business make sense again. Hey guys, if this is where we're at, we're done. We're cooked. This is not, charging more for your product. I get it, but that is the fundamental issue. Is all these games we continue, talking about every week are very expensive, and they're competing with TikTok, which is free, and online and mobile games, which are free, and that's what's really taking all the space out of the room. So what are we talking about?
There's so many games where clearly the problem is people don't really want to spend $70 on a Star Wars Outlaws, right? Or even a Final Fantasy 16. These prices are kind of tough right now. I get why these posters and developers can feel like that. Let's be generous to say the $80 thing at least, because these games are just getting so ridiculously expensive to make. But to expect to just raise the price and there to not be some further massive drop off. I mean, honestly, the $70 thing went worse than I expected, right? I thought that people would be I think consumers can maybe handle that. There's a lot of other economic pressures going on there where that didn't fly so well. But yeah, people aren't really on board with that yet. Let's not talk about $100. What?
Yeah. Go ahead, Jan, please.
Well, yeah, when you just look at the field and look at the people that have kind of lapsed from regularly buying games, and you look at the one or two games they play a year, most of the time that one or two games they play is on their phone, and it is a free gotcha. And sure, they may spend money on it, but I know a couple folks that will get hours and hours of entertainment for free from playing that free-to-play game. And I- if we're moving towards a future where people are just playing 1 to 2 games a year and just kind of like passively viewing or watching people stream other games, having this be the cost of entry, I don't think people are going to pony up.
You say future, kind of just sounds like now. And
Yeah.
but again, like, hey, mate, I hope people understand. Just because if Grand Theft Auto 6 gets away with that, that does not mean you are going to get away with that. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely not.
Assassin's Creed Shadows $100 because GTA 6 did it. What? No, that would never. That would never be seen in the same way ever. But I mean, I think it just overlooks the reality of selling things to people. Like the GTA 6 will be $100. There will be a $100 version of that game, and all Rockstar has to do is give you a few things to make you feel special and make you feel like you're getting
pass included.
I mean, honestly, if it's a 3-day early access thing and you have to pay $100, that version of that game sells what, 1 million, 2 million copies in the first 3 days, easy. Probably more than that, honestly, but at least 1 million copies in it, because like Forza Horizon 5 did that. It had the early version for $100, and it had 1 million copies sold to those people. So you can charge $100. You just have to make people feel like they're getting away with something. And that
Give me a cat helmet again, damn it.
Yes. So
yeah. All right. Okay, Mike, I will give you one.
Thank you. I don't have a cat, but that'd be nice.
Man, Forza was really 3 million. Okay, Jesus. Yeah. So GTA 6 will do a ton just out of the gate at $100. So yeah, they will do that. But it's like this idea then that should just be the default price. It's like, no one is actually having that conversation. It's too flexible the way that we view the cost of spending on video games, because we are so used to sales that we are always doing that calculus in our heads. So every single game is its own consideration, and GTA 6 will be a special case that you just cannot apply across the entire industry. It would never work that way.
Is there a game you would pay $100 to maybe play a week early?
I remember the conversation that I Blessing and Tim had over at Kinda Funny when Tears of the Kingdom was coming out. And it was like, this was like weeks early, maybe months early. And they were talking like what price they would pay just to be able to make sure that they could play Tears of the Kingdom. And the price for that got up to like $1,000. And I'm like if you had to pay $1,000 and that was the only way you could play Tears of the Kingdom, would you do it? And I was sitting there thinking like, yeah, I probably would.
Yeah,
I probably would have paid $1,000.
Now, would I pay $1,000 to play it a week early? No.
No, not a week early.
$100 to play it a week early? No.
I think there's occasional times where I might have considered $100 to play something a week early, but these days probably.
There's
not.
definitely a time in my life where like I was just like, whoa, I could do this early.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's I'll pay for that privilege. That's definitely a thing I think most people get a bit over when they're older, and time just starts going by in a blink of an eye anyways.
Yeah, and like Colonel Sanders mentions that this is something worth considering as well. You charge $100 for a game in the United States, that game is going to be $150 in Canada. And how do you present that to people? What does that look like, really? It looks kind of insane, and like this industry has completely gone off the rails. And it already does look that way in many cases, but there's sort of no hiding it at that point. So I think this is just something like, it's not like a third rail. It's just way more complicated than if GTA 6 does it, everyone else should feel good about raising the price. Honestly, if you're one of these companies, you should be finding ways to get more creative so you can keep the initial price down and find some ways to make some more money on the back end. Make people feel good about microtransactions. I don't know how to do that, but that's a better bet than charging more.
Telling you, back to horse armor and cat helmets. We had it right in the 360 era.
I'm fine with microtransactions.
Microtransactions is all right.
Oh,
yep.
yeah.
Let's see here. Jamie H. Christmas Eve just dropped this one. Okay, Reflector Entertainment had some layoffs. Yeah, I don't think layoffs are going to slow down. We had that. We did just talk about that Dragon Age story. Well, I don't think BioWare Edmonton is closing. Pretty sure it's not. That doesn't mean there will not be any more layoffs at EA. EA probably will have more layoffs. So, all right. Let's see here. I am on this one. Marvel Snap temporarily went offline as part of the TikTok ban in the United States. So what am I supposed to do while driving now, guys? This ByteDance is the company that publishes Marvel Snap, and they're responsible for TikTok. TikTok was banned, and then they like came back, even though it wasn't unbanned because Trump was going to be president. It fucking sucks out here, everybody. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but it sucks. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And as part of that, Marvel Snap got caught up in it because ByteDance couldn't publish stuff in the United States or something. Again, none of it really made sense. But Marvel Snap going offline surprised the people making Marvel Snap to the point where now they are looking for a different publisher. So they're like, this will never happen again. We don't want this to happen again. So we are going to try to leave ByteDance and find someone else. So
pretty stressful few days for everyone at second dinner there. Jeez.
Yeah. It's not like, going 12 hours without revenue is like an easy thing to go through for any company. But, the free-to-play mobile game where you're always trying to keep your momentum, any sort of speed bump like that is going to throw off everything for you. And now it's like their revenues might come up short for the quarter because of this. It's a tough situation. But, yeah, I don't know. TikTok's back. Marvel Snap is back. Nothing matters. So I don't know. Keep playing.
TikTok's not completely back, but yeah.
I don't really. I stopped checking. I don't care anymore. All right. New ESRB ratings suggest a classic. Well, Resident Evil is getting an Xbox Series and PS5 re-release. This is Resident Evil 6. It got an M rating from. Yeah, that's the face. There you go. That's the sound. Yeah, they called it a classic in this headline over at VGC.
Yeah.
This game came out for the Xbox 360 and PS3 in October 2012. It was then ported to Xbox One and PS4 in March of 2016. So this game already works in a pretty good state on Xbox Series X and S and the PS5. What this suggests is this will now get a native version on Xbox Series X and S. And although a PS5 version has not been given the ESRB rating, the assumption would be that would happen as well. What do you guys think this is like? A full remaster? Clearly not a remake.
Not
they don't
full on 4 level. Like, no, it's I played through this, not through it. I played one of the 4 campaigns,
right?
Like maybe in the last 2 years with Kayla.
Right. You streamed it with Kayla. I remember watching that and being like, this is the way for me to engage with this game is watch Dan and Kayla play it.
Yeah, and like I think she's beaten every Resident Evil but that, like the core series, and I think it's the only number Resident Evil I haven't beat. Just because it's like it is way longer than it needs to be, and as much as I love big stupid action, it's not really what I want from my Resident Evil, and it just felt cheap. Like I don't know, it's just something about controlling it. Like those games were always so tight, and this one just felt like a B game basically. We don't need a new one of these.
Yeah.
I've been getting so into Resident Evil lately, though, and this is like one of the ones I never played much because that demo for it was so bad.
I'll play it with you.
Were bad. Yeah, I'm like, I'm kind of happy. I'm like, I want to play this shit. I want to see what's going on with Resident Evil 6. I definitely don't think that this like means anything in terms of like the full blown remakes or the numbered entries coming out. I think this is just, hey, we can do like a little bit of a something here to release a PS5 and Xbox Series and probably a Switch 2 version of this game.
Very likely.
So
did
why not?
Resident Evil 6 come to Switch 1? I think it might have.
No, I don't know if it ever did. I'll check.
Resident Evil 5 did.
Resident Evil
right?
5 and 4 did. But that's the thing, like, aside from just the backwards compatibility with the PS4 version, I don't think this has ever really been. Oh, there's a cloud version of Resident Evil 6.
Right.
Okay. Holy
Jeez.
shit.
Yeah.
Holy
wow.
shit. Those
Honestly,
covers should be
you're
illegal.
Maybe the timing does make more sense for what you said there. It's like a native version getting updated for Switch 2, so they're like, well, why don't we just do it for everything at the same time? That might be what is happening here.
Right,
So
yeah. I'm still so curious to see what the next remake is. We're probably going to hear about Resident Evil 9 first, but, because it could be 5, it could be Code Veronica, it could be 0, it could be 1 again.
God, where'd the rumors leave off? I think the last round of rumors was Code Veronica.
Last rumor seemed Code Veronica positive, which is, I think, the most exciting one, personally. Yeah. But we'll see. God, it was so confusing because Resident Evil 6 sold really well for some reason, even though everyone said it was bad. And I never knew anybody who played it. I always, every once in a while, I'm like, I think they're just lying. I don't think that's true. I don't think Resident Evil 6 is the best selling Resident Evil game. I refuse to believe that.
It's a tough one, but yeah, I think Resident Evil 4 remake is now on its way to beating
it's the fastest selling one, as it should be. It's so good.
Okay, so there's some mix-up. I think Sean's saying that the Resident Evil 6 on Switch is native, so which it's a 360 game. Why wouldn't it be? Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Okay, man. I didn't even know it was on the Switch.
It came out in 2019, according to the.
Wow, that's
so.
under the radar. Okay.
Yep. All right. I guess
Resident Evil 7 is the cloud version. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I guess I think you're right, Mike. That it's like this is not part of what they're doing with the numbered remakes, but I think this is what 6 is going to get as part of that process.
Right.
So, yeah.
You don't think ever it gets a remake? Because like maybe it's we make good thing. It could be a pretty extensive remake. I don't know.
Okay, well, not never in the history of the world, but I don't think it's like in their cards at the moment.
I think you exhaust all the other options first, right?
Yes, exactly. Maybe you do like a 4th or 5th Resident Evil 1 remake before you do that.
Yeah, why the hell not?
Yeah.
Remake only the DS version of Resident Evil 1.
Okay.
The Game Boy Color one, yeah.
Remake Resident Evil Gaiden.
Yeah, perfect. All right. PS5 dinosaur horror game is skipping a PC release to avoid sexualized mods.
What?
Yeah, let's see here. Dinosaur horror game Code Violet will be released exclusively for PS5 this July, and the developer stated it doesn't want to go to PC due to concerns about players creating sexualized mods of the game's characters. Someone on Blue Sky pointed out that this sounds like a Tim Robinson sketch where he's like in the room trying to explain, no, you can't put it on PC. They're gonna fuck the dinosaurs. We just can't do it. You see a dinosaur, how do you not fuck it? You definitely have to fuck it. So yeah.
Now, question. If people are wanting to fuck the dinosaurs, why does that hurt the game makers?
I don't know. In fact, and if history is anything to say about this, it only helps the people making the game.
I
People
don't
wanna fuck
see
the
this as
dinosaur.
anyone's problem, really. You know?
No? Yeah. I mean, maybe they're Puritans. I don't know.
Maybe they're lying. Maybe they just don't want to. It sounds hard to make a PC port. They'll just say this. It sounds nice, right?
I think they're probably lying. Yeah.
We respect our actors or whatever. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're lying just like Capcom Resident Evil 6. Everyone's lying.
I'm going to say this. I don't think we need to respect dinosaurs.
Yeah. In fact,
What are they going to do?
Go fuck the dinosaurs. I don't care. I'm not here to judge you.
If you said that on Blue Sky, you'd have at least 5 replies being like, actually.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed more of that since you said that, Dan, last time.
Yeah.
Destroy the Discover tab, please.
Yeah, it is like you just can't find the balance of social media. It's either all people trying to destroy everything all the time, or
literal Nazis.
Yes,
Yeah. There was a sweet spot with Blue Sky. I'm afraid we might have sailed past it.
Yeah, we definitely got past the honeymoon period there.
That being said, I will punch a Nazi in the fucking mouth. Don't fucking come after me.
Yeah, they're I'm done.
It's a new feature we've got cooking right now.
Here,
I'll do
you
that.
stupid bitch.
Yep. Eat shit. All right.
That's not even Nightmare Jan.
Oh, Nightmare. I said Nightmare Jan after all the Nazis. Hell yeah. Team Jerry Team Cherry.
Team Jerry pulling way ahead of Team Tom right now in the standings, everybody.
Team Jerry breaks Hollow Knight Silksong radio silence. Yes, it's real, progressing, and will release. Mike, you're right. Everybody's lying. They're just out there lying that this thing's real.
This thing's going great, everybody.
Yeah.
I'm holding out a little bit of hope for like this thing's gonna show up at that Switch 2 Direct as maybe a Switch 2 launch game. And then if it's not there, I'm gonna be like, something's wrong. Something's very wrong.
I mean, just to like give the timeline again, the game appeared in the 2023 Xbox Summer Game Fest thing, and if people remember, the whole bit with that, the gimmick was everything in this showcase will be out within the next 12 months. And I think since then, every game that was in there, most of them got delayed. Most of them did not come out in the 12 months. But I think since then, every single game has come out, including like Stalker 2, if that was in there, just not Spoon Heaven. Spoon Heaven's your one game that is not out. So.
I hate you, Grub, because anytime I see Silksong, I don't know what it is. I'm like, when are we going to hear about Spoon Heaven?
Well, how do you think I feel? I didn't know in the first place. I'm like, I think it's called Spoon Heaven. Yeah.
There's no spoons. There's no heaven. Where did that even come from?
Oh, my brain is a mysterious place.
He has a needle. I think that like somehow needle turned to fork, fork turned to spoon.
There was a spork in between there. Yeah.
There was a spork period. That was the gradient. And then we just got the spoon of. I mean, look, this game has a lot of hand-drawn art, so maybe the scope of it is just difficult, and it's just difficult waiting on all those assets being made, right? Skill maybe got a little out of control. I don't actually think this game never comes out. That would be pretty wild. But like,
of course,
we saw like with Sports Story, right? All like that drama that can kind of happen sometimes with these smaller teams. And I'm not trying to say that that's what's happening here, but it's hard to not speculate like what's going on. Are things, sailing smoothly over there, aka smoothing at the moment? I just want to see more of this game. I like first Hollow Knight a lot. I would love to play Spoon Heaven.
Yeah, I think that this just happens with indie games. Like you said, they put out a game, they want to do the follow-up, and they just put so much pressure and perfectionism on themselves to get everything right. And really, these days, when you have a successful indie game, that thing just keeps selling and it keeps funding all that development. So you can take your time. There is no reason to rush it out. You can make Deltarune in parts over the course of years.
Right. Remember Haunted Chocolatier?
Take a break from Haunted Chocolatier. Exactly. Let's go. I just want to keep working on Stardew Valley, and I can because the money keeps rolling in from that first game. My needs are met, and I'm not some crazy person that has to always be growing. I could just fund my life, work on the projects I want to work on, and at my own pace. I just think that's always what happens with these indie games. And this one just happens to be maybe a little bit more ambitious, so they're taking even more time.
Maybe they got to redraw all the assets because people keep calling it Spoon Heaven.
Maybe they're like,
they're renaming it.
We should probably rework this whole thing.
You think anybody at that studio is aware of Jeff calling the game Spoon Heaven?
Yes.
Probably.
There's no way.
Look, Team Cherry, or Team Jerry, if there's like at least one Spoon Heaven reference in that game, like I can't
even
promise
if it causes the game to take another 6 months.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
It's worth it. I just
one
think
room.
Just because every time we bring it up, someone like on Twitter or Blue Sky or somewhere will mention Spoon Heaven. It's over, brother. So yeah, I think they probably know about it.
Okay, let's go, Spoon.
All right, last story here. Mexico tariffs could lead to fewer physical game releases and increased software prices. U.S. President Donald Trump proposed 25% tariff on imports from Mexico and Canada. He says he wants to pass that on February 1st, and that could lead to fewer physical game releases and higher software prices in the U.S. because, as Matt Piscatella, executive director of video games at market research firm Circana, points out, a lot of the discs that we play and buy are manufactured in Mexico. A lot of the infrastructure for bringing those discs into the United States is in Mexico. So if there's a tariff, across the board, 25% tariff on everything that comes from Mexico, that's an immediate 25% cost increase to bring physical games to the United States. If you want to destroy the physical game market, this is a good way to do it. Now,
put my eggs.
Yeah, right. This is just a crazy, stupid thing. It won't benefit anybody. It's just a tax. But they do this because then they can have these flat taxes that everyone has to pay, and they're like, oh well, that will make it up when we cut the taxes for billionaires going forward. And of course it won't. But that's the plan, and we all have to pay for it by spending more on games. And really, they will just release fewer physical games. They will pick and choose like which games get. They are already doing this, but they will be even more specific with what the kinds of games that actually get approved to get physical versions going forward if this does go through. Now, of course, there could be exceptions. There are always exceptions to these tariffs, but there's just no reason to assume video games would be able to get in there, other than, of course, number one gamer in the world is in the administration, so maybe he can help out there. I don't know. We'll see.
I want to punch him in the fucking face.
I want to throttle him. Yeah, I want to hurt him. I could say that one, right? He's not president. Yeah.
No, I don't even care if he is. I'll fucking punch him in the face.
It's a nightmare.
It's trucks out here.
It's bad. It's just a parade of shit. Sorry, everyone who's feeling especially targeted. Trans rights to all you out there. We got some emails later, but I don't know if we'll get to all of them. But someone mentioned, parasocial relationships. I know that these sorts of relationships, when you listen to a podcast like this and you are you feel like you have a home, like sometimes they could be unfulfilling because it's not a personal relationship. there are sides to this where you can still take advantage of that. Get in the Discord, come hang out with the people that have like-minded interests as you. We'll try to keep creating a safe space so you could feel like you have some ground to go to. It's kind of the best we have to offer right now while we're all reeling. So yeah, we'll try to have your back as best we can. Jan, that does it for the headlines. This show's back over to you.
I need to go take a quick bricky break to go punch some people in the face. I strongly suggest y'all go do that as well. And we'll be back with some emails. Emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. You can send an email about virtually any and everything. And I got to give a special shout out to y'all. We have actually had a flood of emails come in. People listening to the show, hey, I appreciate you. I appreciate you for sending a shoot email in and having a question. And sometimes we may not be able to get to it, but I appreciate it nonetheless. First email is about Mega Man. Emailer writes in and asks, hey, duders, I just got into the Chinese handheld game over Christmas and got my Anbernic up and running. One series I've always wanted to play but never touched is Mega Man. I was wondering if Mike or Jan or anyone else had recommendations for where to start, whether it's X, Battle Network, or the Core series. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for writing the experts. I'm here to help you. Mighty Number 9 is a video game that came out.
Never mind. Jeff's a liar and he loves to steal exclusives. Everyone should yell
Give
at
me
him
your
online.
exclusives. Yum.
Give me them exclusives.
So you don't know what an exclusive fucking means. These charts.
Whoa. Oh, not us.
Yeah, he's mad
you.
at me.
Not you, Jan. I am a big core Mega Man guy first and foremost. I know, depends how good you are for NES games. You want to play like an NES Mega Man game. 5 doesn't get talked about a lot, but it's a bit easier than some of the other ones.
So don't start with 5 though. I think if you want to if you're dipping your toe into Mega Man, I'd say 2.
But 2's
I know you're a big 3 guy. You're a big 3 guy.
I like 3 more than 2. I think that 5 is a little bit more first time friendlier. I mean, you have the charge shot, you have the slide. I love 2. I think 2's better ultimately, but 5 is also very good and just a little bit easier. But hey, look, you could also just go and play Mega Man 2. Understand when you play these games though, look up the boss order. We all do that. It's fine. You don't have to go stumble in the dark through that stuff. Mega Man X1 also still just very, very, very good. Mega Man X4 is the other X game that you should maybe check out. But don't sleep on Legends. Mega Man Legends is still just very pretty and unique in a lot of ways. A ton of fun to have with Legends. The Battle Network games are very good. It's a very different thing, though.
Yeah. If you are into turn-based or RPG games, maybe that's more of your flavor, then definitely try the Battle Network series. Like Mike said, it's very different. There's not a lot. There's no platforming in it. But actually, if you wind up kind of clicking with any of the Mega Man X games, I would suggest trying out the Mega Man Zero games that came out on the GBA. Some solid titles there.
Especially 0-3, but those games are more story important than some of the other ones. Not that there's a ton of it. Don't worry, they aren't big talky games. Yeah, you should just play those in order.
All right. Next email. Grub already talked about this briefly before the break. Comes from Josh in London. Hey, Bombcast. Back during the holiday season, while wrapping presents with my partner, I put on the Giant Bomb at Night stream segment when the whole GB crew was on the couch. My partner was curious about each GB cast member, so I gave her the rundown on each person, their role, and a little about their character. Her response was simply, "Do you think you have a bit of a parasocial relationship with these people?" I mean, she's not wrong, but it just can't be helped. Podcasts are so weird. You spend hours upon hours listening to random people speak, end up absorbing a lot of weird detail and information about those people, and you don't even know you exist. I am a real human being. I exist. Anyway, do you guys have any one-sided, parentheses, polite, parasocial relationships with any of the authors, filmmakers, podcast hosts, or general online/media personalities? P.S. The irony of this email, deepening said paranormal relationship is not lost on me. From Josh in London.
I would be very curious to hear the rundowns, the back the back of the box. Here's the deal with Mike. Here's
what is my power level?
Jan.
Yeah. The best of what he does. Yeah.
Who is
the elevator pitch for us?
Who is the Mario of the team?
I wanted to be like the X-Men trading cards that had like fighting ability and power level and things like that, and then a little blurb.
Yeah.
I still have a ton of these kind of parasocial relationships. I mean, it happens. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It only gets wrong when the people start being weird about it, right? And we all know the many ways you can be weird about it. I mean, especially the food YouTubers. I watch so many of those guys, right? And they put out multiple videos a week, and I'm just constantly watching them, and I know the way they speak. I know their little quirks and all this stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of develop that one-way relationship, and I still. There's some people I don't know if I should go up and say hi to them. Like Spike Vegeta involved with Games Done Quick, right? Second year in a row, I didn't have the courage to say hi to Spike Vegeta, right? I don't mind you having a parasocial relationship with me. You can also come say hi whenever you want to. It's completely fine. It's normal in some ways. It's, like everything in moderation. There's a moment where it becomes weird or a problem. I think 99.99% of people I've ever interacted with have not crossed that line.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you, Mikey. I've talked openly about how my life is kind of a mess actively right now, and I do appreciate there being people out there that are concerned over my well-being. And yeah, if you see me, say hi. I don't fucking mind. Let's stop and chat.
I think we definitely don't mind. I think a lost concern usually for parasocial relationships is they just can't be your only relationship. A positive relationship in your life is positive, it's stable, and it's meaningful. And we could be positive and stable in your life. It's like, do we provide meaning? I think only to a certain extent. Like, it's only going to be so much meaning. What you really need is someone in your life that you could talk to and have a meaningful, direct relationship with. And if you have those covered, having some parasocial relationships where it's like, I don't know, I like the way these people talk about things and I can't get this anywhere else. That is completely okay. That's completely healthy. But you definitely make sure you're minding those personal relationships as well. And went over, like, I think of, like, what would I recommend people? The thing I keep going back to is, I don't find someone playing a Dungeons and Dragons game in your community and go join that, hang out with them, and then you kind of got that stuff covered. That'll kind of cover all your bases for having a good personal relationships, as long as they don't suck, I suppose. That's always a risk you run.
Yeah. Take a cooking class. I don't know.
Yeah, cooking class. There you go.
Go do things. Go out and go do things.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a key takeaway. Go out and do things. Also, if you're looking for a community, join the Giant Bomb Discord.
Yeah. Exactly. You can
bunch of
get
good
those
people.
meaningful relationships still as part of this. And yeah, the Discord, hit me up on Blue Sky. I'll respond every once in a while.
Yeah. Jeff used to just be some weirdo I knew from the internet to me.
Exactly.
Now he's your gravy train.
Now he's my head. Yeah, Mr. Gravy Train.
That's what they call me.
You know how they have chocolate fountains? Do they have gravy fountains?
You should.
They have cheese.
I hope so.
Some places will have cheese.
Ooh.
Golden Corral is a chocolate and cheese in the past.
A gravy
I'm
volcano.
So much more interested in a cheese fountain than a chocolate fountain. Oh
Me
my
too.
god.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I interact with most people that interact with me on Instagram also. So if you like a thing that has Scout in it or whatever, or my dumb memes, then let's hang. Next email is about the Bowser's Hurry stream. This comes from Jerry in Wisconsin. Hey, Bombers. The Bowser's Hurry stream on Friday was fantastic. Congrats on raising all that money in such a short amount of time. I did think of a question at the end of the stream. With Mike proving that he is canonically the best Mario player, that makes him the most qualified to determine what a mainline Mario game
I like
is.
that. I like the sound of this. Okay.
So is Mario 3D World mainline? Is Bowser's Fury now mainline if Mike thinks it belongs there? Since he is the de facto Mario expert, all his rulings on the matter should be final. Love the show. Dan is weirder and worse at Mario than Mitch. Jerry in Wisconsin.
Very good. Very good. Yes. Wow. Dan, come on. You got last in the race. You can speak last. Don't worry. It'll be fair. Well, 3D World is, of course, a mainline Mario game. You would have to be a sociopath to not understand that. Dan, excuse me. You went.
Bowser's Fury is.
I can't speak loser. I'm sorry.
So that's okay. So like Bowser's Fury is the more interesting conversation. I should not already rope Dan into it. You have no hesitation saying that Bowser's Fury is a mainline game, but 3D World isn't. Bowser's Fury, a game made.
I think they're both mainline, but Dan really feels this way.
Yep.
I would consider. I mean, look, if I was, it's weird because it wasn't a standalone thing, but in spirit, to me, the main line, the through line is moving the series forward. It's that line of like not spinoffs and stuff. And I feel like Bowser's Fury is the natural evolution of the series post Odyssey.
Why is 3D World not a good evolution of the series?
Because that was a side thing. It's four players. Look, we've been over this. It's not. It's part of the 3D
never
series.
Had a good answer, Dan.
3D Land, 3D
Mike.
World, part of the same thing. 4-player, multiplayer focus, weird kind of isometric.
There's no multiplayer in 3D Land. Why is isometric weird?
Well, it's just it's not the standard. It's not the evolution. It's not the next step past Odyssey.
So things have to be
It's
standard, but also push forward by being different.
That's correct. Well, they don't have to push forward.
Well,
Like
I can
Galaxy,
see why we're
shut
not coming
up. Galaxy 2 is mainline. And that didn't push forward. That was just an evolution.
So you can't be an evolution, but
it's the line, the main line, it just goes like this. So here, okay, so it's kind of down here, Mario 1, 2, 3. Ooh, Super Nintendo, we got a little bump in the line. Yoshi's Island. Okay, gonna keep. 64. Wow, we're 3D now. We're really going up. Ooh, Sonny's got a jetpack. Oh, now he's in space and we got gravity. Now he's got a hat. And now, Bowser's Fury and Beyond.
I didn't know you were going to speak so eloquently about it. Make a bunch of sounds
I've been doing
in
this
the
for
line.
a long time, man.
Yes.
It's like, watch a master.
Yeah, I can see why people weren't coming to you for these decisions anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're both mainline games. Bowser's Fury, I maybe used to be like, I don't know, because like the pack-in, playing it now, I'm like, no, this is one of them.
He's got a hat.
This is just what he's got a hat now. If you say it like, well, now he's got a hat, then it sounds like it's important. Of course,
It was
I could
important.
Say,
It
well,
had
now
eyes.
he's got a cat suit.
It's so funny how jovial and chummy these two are in person.
Yes, it's funny.
They're
Right?
like knives out right now. I love it.
Well, because they keep bringing up this thing that I've been proven correct about, and it keeps
No,
coming
you
up.
were
And
just
I'm
at
like,
the museum where you were proven incorrect.
I
You
talked to Miyamoto.
did that 20 years ago, and it was mistranslated. It was wrong. Also, you didn't
It was like 12
ask
years
him
ago.
about
It was
3D
like 13
World.
years ago.
All you asked him about was the Yoshi's Island thing, which we're not even talking about now.
Let's ask him about 3D World. Next time I
Okay,
see Miyamoto,
great.
I'll ask him about
Okay.
3D
Don't
World.
you really
Definitely.
think, Dan, do you really think there is a chance in hell that Shigeru Miyamoto's going to say, oh, yeah, that's not a mainline Mario game, whatever he thinks that means. He's going to say, that's not a real Mario game. Super
We've
Mario
been
3D
on the
World.
same page with everything in the past.
Yeah. I wanna
Except
fight
for when
you.
you told me,
That's it,
actually, in the
that's
same
it, that's
interview,
it,
in the
that's
same
it,
interview, he
let's
said the
go.
Koopalings weren't his kids anymore, and I do disagree with him about that.
All right. Speaking about Shigeru Miyamoto, next
What's the point of
email-
winning these Mario races if he still gets away with all this?
You can't keep getting away with it. Damn it. Somebody's got to do something.
Mike, I get shoot worried about you when you get worked up sometimes.
I feel great. Damn it.
Oh wow, you definitely are the George of the team. Dan from
I know.
Dan from Seattle writes in about favorite game directors. Hey, duders, first time, long time. I've been thinking a lot about leadership recently and how important it is for games or any project to have a clear and strong vision and have someone at the helm who can see it through while also having a keen understanding of limitations. Who is messing with the dock right now?
I'm not making it bigger. I'm not doing that.
Like budgets, timelines, and technology, etc. It's my view that a great director with a good team results in a better product than a good director with a great team. Do you find that to be the case? Are there any directors you trust to always steer a game in a good direction, even if you might not always like or agree with the choices? Love y'all, Dan from Seattle.
Kojima. Miyamoto.
I really like Sam Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's infallible. I think everybody
Right.
making games is so complicated and so dependent on more than one person that everybody could have a disaster
Wii
in them
music.
or a misstep in them. Right. I do think that there are just personalities that are well suited to it. Like I chatted with Corey Barlog, excuse me, like at E3 way back before that God of War reboot came in. Just like from talking to him, like, oh, this guy like really knows what he's doing. He seems really nice and interesting. I bet he just makes good video games, and that just absolutely was the case, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Josh Sawyer recently, the guy that did the New Vegas and Pentiment and stuff like that.
Sure.
After playing Pentiment and kind of like paying attention to some of I follow him on social media. I don't know. It just seems like he has a pretty good idea of like what he wants to make when he starts making it. And yeah, I think that's the kind of person I would want in charge. Someone who has that strong vision, and then also has a good grasp on the reality of actually making a vision come to life, because that's where a lot of that stuff gets lost.
Fantastic. Next email comes from Matt K, and this may tickle Mike's fancy here. Matt writes in about Star Trek. First off, I fucking love you all. Going through an extraordinarily rough patch right now, and every one of you is feeding my heart. Now, why the fuck aren't we drowning in Star Trek games? How has Telltale never taken up the IP? It's just sitting there. An RPG, a grid, or tile for Jan, base tactics game, a city builder, a third-person adventure game, anything. We have nothing. So what's the deal? There's so much potential. Your constant listener, Matt K.
You know what's funny is I forget if it was actually Telltale or if one of those like many Telltale spin-offs or successors. They made a Star Trek game a couple years ago. It did not get very much press.
Oh.
But that happened, and I heard some people say it's actually good. So look that up if you're interested in that. There's also like a Star Trek 4X that happened a little bit ago that also went super under the radar. It might even be by the Stellaris people, right? So maybe try that. Star Trek's always been weird because it's such an omnipresent IP, and it's a popular IP with a very passionate fan base, but it's never quite popular enough where people want to put like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order money into
Sure.
one of those games or something like that, right? There's like a world where you make a Mass Effect style game, but it's just the Star Trek IP, it would be incredible. And instead, we get, you know, Star Trek as a co-op shooter, kind of like Gears of War, which I liked that game. No one else did though.
I want to play that game. You're talking about the one that you played through with your brother?
Yeah, it's fun and stupid. It's stupid for sure, but
I wonder if
it's
that's still
kind of
possible.
yeah, it's kind of fun. I kind of want to go back because there's like Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo Star Trek: The Next Generation, Deep Space Nine games, and I'm always
I
like,
played
what
that.
are those even like?
Well, okay, so I had never seen Star Trek as a kid, but I'd seen all the Star Wars movies, and so I remember I went to my step grandparents' house, and they had a Super Nintendo, and all they had was Tiny Toons, Buster Bust Loose, which I loved,
Game
and
rules.
That's
these
awesome.
2 Star Trek games for Super Nintendo. One of them was like Starfleet Academy or something.
Yes.
And like not knowing anything about Star Trek, I was like, okay, cool. I've seen space action. This is going to have laser swords and guns and cool shit. And you play it and like you literally are in like an academy learning how to be a Star Trek guy. And then when you go down on the planet or whatever, you're like walking around to computer terminals and it like dissuades you from attacking things. And it's like, all I knew about video games was like, you just kill your enemies. And like, this was having me read and not be violent. And I was very confused as a child with this game.
Right.
Did
And
not
that's
like
the thing
it.
with Star Trek. It's the best when like there can be action in Star Trek and the movies always veer into that more. But it is usually it's best when it's not about that
I
stuff.
mean, that's why
and
a
it's,
Telltale game actually makes sense for that, because it's
It
like you want
makes
to be
sense.
faced with like challenging choices. Yeah.
yeah, you want to be doing like difficult diplomacy and philosophy and explorations and science stuff, right? Like there's so much to Star Trek that's always been difficult to make one kind of game. And they succeeded, right? Like they did make a Star Trek first-person shooter, Star Trek Voyager Elite Force, and it was Raven Software back when they were very good at that kind of stuff, right? Like they did Jedi Outcast, and that game rules. Elite Force is fantastic. It's it's a shooter, but it's a very fun one with all the Star Trek flavors that it has. So there's good Star Trek games out there. I don't know if we're ever going to get that kind of ideal, perfect Star Trek game that we've always wanted, especially right now. Star Trek's weird because it's both thriving because there's a lot of shows, but also kind of in a weird place. I think that Section 31 movie is going to do poorly, that direct-to-video one that seems very dark and strange. So I don't know. I used to be such a Star Trek guy, friends. I kind of maybe need to catch up and get back into it.
Resurgence came out last year. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
it came out last year, and I thought I should play it because it is very next generation code. That's definitely the next generation, Deep Space Nine. Those are my big Star Trek highlights.
One day I'll get into Trek, Mike. One day.
Yeah, I want to do a Deep Space Nine podcast someday. We can do next generation podcast too. That'd be fun.
Next generation, huh?
Next generation. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Deep Space
Mitch.
Jan. No, I'll workshop that one.
Okay. Next email comes from Phil in Calgary. Hey guys, it's a Mount Rushmore of dips.
Oh,
Real quick before we do that, can we do a Star Trek Bridge Crew stream?
Oh yeah.
The VR one.
That game is actually really good. That actually is a very good Star Trek game and one of the best VR games still.
I think we have to like always make Dan the captain and just see
Yeah.
what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet it'll go great.
It'll go great.
barbecue and ranch are 1 and 2.
Barbecue.
I don't
ranch.
like ketchup, but I feel like ketchup has to be there.
No,
No.
I love
no.
ketchup.
Barbecue ranch, buffalo.
See, I think of buffalo as like a glaze than a dip.
It can
though.
be
Are
a
these more
glaze.
sauces
I'm
or
just-
dips?
Yeah,
I'm
right?
just
like
thinking nuggets. I'm
sauces,
thinking
like a-
nuggets. You know,
Like, what about like a buffalo chicken dip, right?
they don't have that
That's
at
a
McDonald's.
Dip.
You put
or like
the
a
chicken in
French,
the
An
buffalo.
artichoke dip. Yeah.
yeah, French onion dip,
just queso.
right?
Just queso.
Queso's
Buffalo
amazing.
ranch, queso, buffalo.
You said buffalo twice.
So I mean,
No, buffalo ranch. No, sorry. Barbecue ranch, buffalo, queso.
okay, queso is a dip. That's a dip.
Yes, that's a dip.
I think the rest are sauces.
Well, you dip.
Yeah.
No,
Dipping
you dip.
sauces though.
I,
You
yeah,
dip things in
sure,
sauces.
but if you're saying the
It's not
Mount
the spirit.
Rushmore of dips, and you put up a bunch of sauces
Okay.
like
No, I
guacamole,
mean, this is- when you get nuggets, they ask you like what dips you want. And you
Ask
get your
what
barbecue,
sauce
you
do
get
you
your
want?
ranch.
No,
I feel like
do
they
ask
asked me what sauce I want. I feel like they
definitely
never
ask
use the
what
word
sauce you want.
dips.
Yes, not once have they used the
Okay,
Oh my God.
guac and
Guacamole-
hummus.
word. Hummus is a dip. Yes.
Okay.
So I think
Guac and
guacamole
hummus.
is up there for sure.
Guac,
Oh, yeah.
hummus, queso,
Okay.
Salsa.
no chunks.
What do you mean no chunks? Of course a dip can have
No,
chunks.
no. With the salsa, I just put my chip in there, and if you don't get a curved chip, because I can fuck it up, if you just get a straight chip, you dip it in, and then you just want it red wet. You don't want chunks.
I hate everything he just said. French onion dip can we get that one on there?
Never
Yes,
tried it.
it.
Can't put it on.
Hey,
Never tried
should
it.
we just try and like bring everyone together? 7-layer dip,
Never
I
tried
like
it.
so, man.
That's
Never
too many
tried it.
layers.
That's too many. There's some weird stuff in there.
like lasagna.
Oh, I like lasagna, but lasagna repeats layers, right? I think those are 7 unique layers in that dip.
Right.
I'm not trying 7 layers.
If you throw like a little bit of herbs in ranch, you can call it a ranch dip. So I'm willing to like give you back
Okay.
ranch if you
I'll
call it
do
ranch
ranch.
dip.
yeah.
The ranch already has herbs in it. What are you talking about? That's the whole reason it's ranch.
Yeah, but
It's the
right.
specs.
I know, but there's like for the ranch dip, there's just they put more herbs in there, Mike. I don't know what you want from
They
me.
put extra herbs.
I don't know what you want from me. That's
I
just
think
what they
Dan should
do.
be disqualified for this conversation. I've not. Dan's been throwing a
I
lot of
said
stuff
queso,
out.
and everyone loved queso.
You
so-
threw a lot of stuff out of this email, and I have been unimpressed. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, you get a D today.
Okay,
Dan.
okay.
Oh, hey, pass fail, brother. That's how I do it.
That's a fail.
A D, isn't I got a D in everything.
Okay.
All
for the
right.
free
I
A's,
guess the different schools in Kansas. Never mind.
Dan, you can definitely help out with this next email.
Okay.
This comes from Daniel from Long Beach. Hey, duders, it's my 40th birthday next month, and I want to go to Disneyland and eat the foods. I'm local, so I know my way around. We're good on that. My girlfriend and I want to Disneybound. So my question is, what characters should we dress as? If you have time, here's some-
A functioning adult in society.
Says the guy who has to dip his chip into the salsa just right so he doesn't get the chunks.
That's gross and weird.
The
what makes
functioning
the salsa?
adult.
I literally get extra chunky salsa.
Wow. Does it have extra red wet in it?
Yeah, extra red wet.
is not a.
Sir,
Look,
please
I've
wait
heard
there.
so much
Clerk,
red wet.
Where is your red wet aisle? Can you show me where the red
Well,
wet? Where do you
gotta-
keep
you
your
gotta
red
avoid
wet?
the chunks to get to the red wet. You don't get red wet without the chunks. You just don't eat the chunks. It's like the skin on the brie.
Oh my god.
What?
Wait. The wax?
That's why I
No, that's not
I don't
wax.
really
That's
eat
an
brie
actual-
because it freaks
It
me
is,
out. Because
okay.
it's like, ooh, here's delicious
rind.
cheese in the middle, surrounded
rind,
by
okay.
deadly poison.
No, that's not. You can eat that rind. It's fine.
Red Wedding is my favorite Game of Thrones episode, by the way.
Yeah.
If you have time, here's some characters we've already dressed up as: Cap and Bucky, Kyle Ren and Captain Phasma, a hitchhiking ghost and Hatbox Ghost, Maleficent and Dragon Maleficent. Love you guys. And Dan definitely had the neurovirus at the end of last year, and not just some bad poops.
No one around me got sick. And I ate a vat of weird meat and cheese. Thanks, doctor.
Daniel, from Long
Dr. Disneybounding.
That's fun.
Mike, you got any suggestions?
Hi, Daniel. Hey, Mr. Lee from Long Beach. God, I mean, gosh, there's so many possibilities. I think all the Wreck-It Ralph ones are always kind of cute, right? Like Vanellope and Wreck-It Ralph, or even when they get Fix-It Felix in there. You do Felix.
No, you should do Wreck-It Ralph and Captain Felix because they are
Captain Felix.
actually in a relationship, not
Oh, yeah.
Vanellope and Wreck-It Ralph.
There you
Okay,
go. Yeah.
I like it. Get weird. Do some. What would be a good, like, more obscure one? I mean, Atlantis is always.
What's the most
popular these
racist
days.
Disney character? Goes that? Yeah.
Well, Uncle
Is there a
Remus?
Song of the South one?
Yeah, Uncle Remus. You can be Uncle Remus. That'd go over great.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be a big hit.
Yeah.
I would advise against it, actually. Oh, be Sunny Eclipse and instruments is always be good.
Go as the rescuers, the two mice that solve
Yeah,
crimes.
sure.
their names are Bernard and Miss Bianca.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Was that
Mike.
Zsa Zsa Gabor?
Eva Gabor?
Eva
Is that
Gabor?
Zsa Zsa?
I liked
I think
Rescuers.
that's
That was
I think
fun.
that's I think that's Zsa Zsa. I think.
No, we got it now with Bernard and Miss Bianca. That's the correct answer. Good job, Jan.
All right, there we go. Next email comes from Pat in Quebec. And Pat writes in about GDC, which is coming up. Pat writes, "Dearest members of the large explosive clan, I'll be going to GDC in San Francisco for the first time, and I'm looking for tips from for some locals. What is the quintessentially San Francisco thing to experience for someone who will be there for a couple days? Sea lions, floating prisons, quaint neighborhoods. I'm also a coffee weirdo. I spritz my beans and weigh my water." Pat, my guy. What coffee places would you recommend to such a weirdo? Pat from Quebec.
Oh, right, Ronnie.
P.S. I've also decided to engage in some virtual tourism research and am playing Watch Dogs 2 casually, which is set in SF. It's been fun comparing and its representation of what the city is to my understanding of it based on snooping around on Google Maps. Also, this game depresses me as a lot of its subject matter is increasingly becoming reality these days.
I was thinking about that. Was that the game where when they announced it, the guy was like crying because of like your digital...
No, you're thinking of Nate Fox during the infamous Second Son reveal.
Okay.
From Sucker Punch. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this guy just came out and was very intense about private security and stuff like that, and your public presence online. So okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, playing Watch Dogs 2 though, playing a game before you're going to the city, that is a good move.
That was one of the only times, or it was the first time I was playing a game in the city I was living in. Because I remember Watch Dogs came out while I lived there. And the same thing with Spider-Man, Marvel Spider-Man, when I lived in New York. And like,
I mean, you can imagine that happens to me every day with Cleveland. So.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm tired. It was like World War II in the mid-aughts.
The World War II of
everywhere.
Games,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I may regret offering this, but if you are going to GDC, I don't know if I can just blindly throw in Tam and Lucy into this, but I will guide a tour group around.
Oh my God, Jan.
And we will go around and have a fun time. We'll just consider it like a giant bomb community meetup if you're going to GDC. All right. Yeah, if you already live in the Bay Area, get fucked. Okay. And I'm going to take you to my favorite places, which are not any fantastic, fun, super duper places. If you're looking for the quintessential San Francisco experience, you're going to have to buy a joint. You're going to have to buy a burrito.
Get stabbed by a dirty knife.
No, accidentally get poked by a needle on Bart. That's what it is.
Yeah, there you go.
Please. And get into some shenanigans. All right. I'll guide you. I'll show you a good time, baby.
Tommy's joint? I like Tommy's joint.
Tommy's joint, Dad.
It's awesome, right?
Yes. Yeah. Get some Tommy's rum punch.
Cafeteria style meat. Just yeah.
Are you gonna go to the Walt Disney Family Museum?
Yeah, you go. Okay, we'll
Alcatraz is cool.
Alcatraz is cool.
Makes you think of The Rock.
Yeah. Honestly, the Ferry Building is very pretty. You should go there.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, yeah.
Exactly.
To the Cheesecake Factory that Jeff and I like.
Yeah, I guess you can go there.
You can't. No, you have to.
Yeah. Okay. I'll show you a good time. I'll come up. If you don't want to join the Jan tour group at GDC this year, I'll make an Excel sheet, have some fun places for you to go to, and I'll include if you don't drink or smoke or want to have a fun time. All right. Last email of the show comes from Jordan J. From Chicago. And folks, this
you're gonna skip this email where someone said they fuck with you to me? That's the nicest anything anyone's ever said. You don't have to read it. I'm just joking. Please keep going.
All right. Well, Allison from Alabama had said in their email, P.S. Jeff Grubb, I fuck with you.
Yeah, let's go, Allison.
All right.
But can you read the PPS on that one real quick too?
PPS, I can never remember how to pronounce Ahago, so I just call it Asiago instead.
All right, thank you. I read that. I was like, this is important.
That's really good.
First off, Jan, Nikki, and Tam, y'all good? After hearing you explain Yada mean to the rest of the crew, I was concerned for the level of whiteness in your surroundings. These word I am not allowed to say, parentheses, fellas, are so translucent you can see the mayo they ate for lunch.
Hi.
Hey.
He's so translucent. Was mayo's not white enough for him? Yeah.
Nikki's the only one that can say that word. They're saying it in chat. They got you playing frisbee golf yet? I'm trying to see some brown activities in this bish. Know what I mean? Fuck all that hockey shit.
Agreed.
Anyways, I rank them based on whiteness.
Oh, sweet.
Number 4. Jeff Grubb is so white, he is down. Nothing better than a self-aware white. He's the neighbor that winds up at cookouts and birthday parties. We need Jeff Grubbs.
Yeah, that's happened for sure.
Number 3. Mike Minotti is so white, it's cute.
Aww.
He can't help it, and he can't deny it. Real talk. Do he like chocolate? Because I see my man laid up with a beautiful black queen eating pasta to each other on top of Moana bed sheets.
Hell yeah.
Black
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Black folks love Italian food, and they'll eat that Disney bullshit up too. I'm trying to see my boy get hella nasty and add Mike Methodi to the aliases.
Yes.
Oh fuck! I just read the next one. I'm gonna die. Oh,
Number
fuck.
2, Jeff Bacalar, coworker.
Oh, I'm gonna die.
Number 1, they misspelled your name, Dan Riker. Shit, I don't know, man. There's so many Dan stories he tells, and not even halfway through, I think I would have been shot. He is the type of guy to go to the South Side and either get his pockets ran or escorted out of the hood by a top hitter. Dude is white Jesus with severe ADHD. He'll either bring forth doom incarnate or trip into the solution to the world's many issues. Love the show. You all bring something unique to the show. It keeps me engaged and knowledgeable. Stay safe. Stay up. Stay safe. Jordan J. from Chicago.
Jordan
That
J,
was
you
a
have
good
just crushed it. You made my
Incredible.
day.
I do take umbrage. Look, Mike can't say his favorite rapper is Lin-Manuel Miranda. And
Now, he
not
was
be higher on
definitely
this list.
joking when he said that. Not that
Oh,
is
but I
the
want
real
to hear
answer
him
any
go
better.
name others and
Okay.
tracks that you like.
Lamar?
What?
Lamar.
Lamar who?
I almost said Kyle Lamar. I'm like, that's not right.
Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick. That's it.
You sure you don't want to reorder this?
I regret trying to defend him. I'm sorry, everybody.
You're like Kyle Lamar in the
renounce him.
Wu-Tang group.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
I'm so white, it's cute, remember?
It is now my dream to make Mike Minotti's description happen.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
want
good.
this to be real.
It's good.
Oh god.
Hey, remind us to when we do our catch up with the Jeff Bacalar on voicemail dump truck. We got to remind him of this.
What is the coworker? I think I don't get the coworker.
Oh,
It's
really?
just like if you have a black friend and they think of the white coworker as just coworker.
Okay, I was wondering if there's more to it than that. Okay,
It's just
no.
that. Yeah, it's like
Okay,
Oh
okay.
no, he
Yeah.
is coworker, and
Yeah.
I've gone on with my life now. Yeah.
Boss man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Thank you, Jordan, for a fantastic email. Oh god, thank God I wasn't lumped in with the whites. I want to know where Lucy ranks on this list, frankly.
Oh, yeah.
He's just
I
like
think being
0.
British bumps it up, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It's a different kind, though, right?
Right. It is
Yeah.
a
Different
kind.
level of white.
Yeah. More white than white. Yeah.
I do.
All
It
right.
is weird. I haven't been shot more.
For sure.
Agree.
Yeah.
All
Yeah, but
right.
shoot shot.
No.
Vanta White. Yes, thank you, Sign Guy Bubsy. That's what she is.
Wait,
yeah.
is Vanna White? No, it's not.
No,
Anyway.
like instead of Vanta Black, which is like that the blackest black color that they've ever created. Yeah,
All right.
Vanta White.
Oh man, I don't know if y'all ever came across this on TikTok, but there was a hot minute where there were these before and after photos of like before my black girlfriend or before my black wife, and it was generally a glow up because a white dude would just go from schlubby to having style. And god damn, do I need to see that with Mike Minotti?
Mhm.
Anyway, that wraps it up for emails. Gents, what did we learn this week?
Oh, I
We
don't know.
learned that one of the Minotti brothers stole from an establishment, and we are now harboring a criminal.
Yep.
We've learned to not mess with or derail the gravy train. We're gonna be okay from now on. Double dipping. We've also learned to not fall into the Arquette hole. The floor is worked. Nintendo can still be weird, and that's okay. We also learned that Mike is the best Mario player, and we also learned about Red Wet. And folks, take away from that what you will. Red Wet,
Learn more than that.
Red Wet everything. Red Wet your chips. Red Wet your other dipping foods of
Bread.
choice. Folks, this week we got Game Miss Mornings popping off for the rest of the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
Oh my
Check out
God.
Bowser's Hurry from last week. It was a very fun time. We were raising money for the LA wildfire relief. I don't know if that donation link is still active, but hey, shouts out to y'all for watching and hanging out with us. We were able to raise $6,500 and blast past our goal several times. Folks, if you're looking for the conclusion of term Daninator, Reichard of the Machines, I gotta edit some parts out or else YouTube will continue clapping us. I uploaded a version and YouTube still said it was not enough because I left the audio in.
Someone did mention having Mike recreate those scenes, so we could just have him do that for you and you can splice those in.
Oh boy. And then speaking about Blight Club, tomorrow, Dan, what you got a new Blight.
I'm holding Drake of the 99 Dragons, a game I've never played. I've never seen in action. I've heard it's great, so I don't know why we picked it for this or why Alex Navarro picked it. Grub, I got a wig in the mail. Is that all I need?
No, there should be like a leather duster coming as well. Then you need to wear and a let's call it a shirt. Yeah. I guess that's what it is, a shirt. And then there's wear the leather pants that you had for Terminator.
Okay, if they do not arrive today or tomorrow, should I just do leather pants and the wig and get moving?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's holding up the mail there? What's going on?
It should be like I ordered it right away, all at the same time.
Check
it's probably
your
going to be there
tracking,
today.
But
I'll
if
check
it's
the
not here
tracking.
today, no matter what, we will start this tomorrow. I could wear the Terminator jacket if needed. So yeah, that is starting tomorrow. And then once I'm done with this game, I'm off Blight Club playing duties for a full go round. I think we're doing the lightning round right after that, right?
We'll do the lightning round.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Also, stay tuned this week for BCR. We will be doing 2025's Fantasy Critic Draft with the whole gang.
Who won 2024?
You did. Good job, buddy.
Oh, cool.
Records were lost. There was a fire.
How did I
Dan.
not? Wait, how is it that Mike won a one-off stream and got to give us all punishments, and I won a year-long battle and I got nothing?
Okay, you're not wrong. We definitely need to find something that the winner should get. It's just not
Blight Club
retroactively.
skip? Like a get out of jail free?
No,
card?
not everyone's in Blight Club.
That's just a dumb thing you said.
No, I mean for last year, like a retroactive. Like I need just Venmo me.
You could,
Yeah, we'll give you some money.
you gave up just money.
Also, Dan, I think you were the one that decided we should give out punishments. So,
Yeah, and I stand by that. But I should have won something.
Jeff, when are you playing Griffin Dango?
Yeah, I got it downloaded. I want to stream it. I do. So I will have to find time to do that. I'll probably try to start this week, though. That would be excellent.
Okay.
Yeah, Sean's got Wario World at some point, too.
Nice.
Lovely.
I should have
folks.
lost. This sounds fun.
Folks, that does it for this week's Bombcast. Despite the state of the world being on fire, know that we are here for you. Trans rights, God damn it. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. I've been Jan, he's been Jeff, he's been Dan, he's been Mike, and you at home. I've been doing okay. Go drink some water, bud. Go outside. Go learn a trade, perhaps. Go contribute to the world in a positive way. Punch someone in the face that should be punched, not just cuz. All right. Also, don't report Chris Minotti. He's a father. Goddamn.
Yeah, leave him alone.
He's fine. I was joking. That didn't happen.
Oh, there you go.
He was joking.
I'm going
He
to tell
was
my
joking.
dare counselor.
Coworker.
Coworker.